It's Fushigi!
Fushigi, like, I don't know what it is, but it's the coolest thing ever, and I can do it.
Hi, I'm Tim Goey, and this is Fushigi. We're gonna show you how to unlock the secrets of Fushigi, the magic gravity ball. No strings, no tricks. Magic? Maybe. An illusion? You decide. You can make Fushigi defy gravity and appear to float in midair with maneuvers like the prayer cross, the enigma, levitation, and so many more. It floats, it levitates, it will confuse the senses with its mind-blowing movements. Young or old, big or small, anyone can Fushigi from the minute they pick up the magic gravity ball. And with a little practice, you can conquer Fushigi.
This is so amusing.
I think it's fabulous.
I get it now.
Everyone loves Fushigi, and you don't have to be a magician. It's relaxing, even therapeutic. Best of all, it's just amazing.
It floats.
It's awesome. Fushigi.
From basic maneuvers to the advanced, even control more than one Fushigi at a time. You can do this. Mystify, amaze, and confuse your friends in just minutes. Now it's your turn to master Fushigi.
Fushigi!
It's sick. It's so much fun. I love it.
It's amazing!
I love it.
Me too!
My grandson, he's 16, he would love one of those. I want to buy it now.
Fushigi.
Call now to order Fushigi.
How much even was that? That was like, it couldn't have been more than $30, right? Like, it's just a ball. It's just a ball with that looks like it doesn't move. All right, we're back. If you're watching this from the previous part, you're watching an archive episode on YouTube. It's a scam is what it is. So yeah, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we are now continuing with Fate Stay Night.
セイバーを連れてたらこの森からは出られないし、彼女を自然に回復させるにしたって時間がかかる。どのみちイリアに追いつかれるわ。わかる？私たち3人揃って森を出るにはバーサーカーを倒すしかない。
We're done with Fate? No, we're still going. I just took a break, and I realized that, like, on YouTube, the thing is that people don't really watch like stream VODs that are longer than longer than 3 hours. Like, it's just too much to ask somebody to do. So what I'm gonna do is that if I hit a 3 hour point, I'm gonna take a break and then we'll just start a new recording. Twitch is a bit weird because Twitch itself wants you to have long streams, but YouTube does not promote that. So that's what we're gonna start doing. Pretty sure it was $19.99 plus tax, and if you call now, you can get a second one free.
それができなければ、私たちもアーチャーの後を追うだけよ。
まさかを倒すだって。
That monster? Defeat that invincible whirlwind of death? I can't imagine that being possible. If we fight, we die. Tosaka should understand that perfectly herself. If her plan is still to defeat him, is her plan still to defeat him, even knowing that? Thinking about cutting out parts to make VODs an hour for YouTube. I don't have time to edit. Also, editing your own videos is, especially with as much footage as we get from streaming, is exhausting. You have to pay someone else to do that. I recall the reason why I had Zebra become my editor way back when is because I was trying to edit myself the Yakuza VODs which we recorded for about like 2 or 3 hours, and sitting there watching over the stuff that we just did was killing me. What am I saying? Tosaka's not saying that we can't beat it. She's not so blindly optimistic. We're not going to beat him to win. I should have realized that from the very beginning. That's all there is to it. If we don't want to die here, we have to defeat that monster.
そういうことよ。けど、それほど絶望的な状況ってわけでもないわ。いくらバーサーカーだって、 アーチャーと戦った後なら何らかの傷を負っているはずよ。私だってとっておきの宝石を全部持ってきてるし、セイバーさえ回復すれば打開策の一つや二つは作り出せるわ。
Dang, we should just edit each other's videos. Because I'm fine as long as I'm not editing my own stuff. Editing someone else's stuff would be much more enjoyable. We should just edit each other's VODs.
逆に言えばね、バーサーカーが傷を負っている今こそイリアスフィールを倒せる最大の機会だと思わない？
けど肝心のセイバーを回復させる方法があるのか。こんな場所じゃ満足な治療もできないんじゃ。
ううん、セイバーの治療に場所は関係ないわ。セイバーは単に魔力切れで弱っているだけだもの。一定量の魔力さえ補充してあげれば、あとは以前通りの能力を発揮してくれる。
Osaka's explanation reminds me of late last night. She said that Saber's magical energy was mostly gone, which is why, to restore Saber's magical energy,
セイバーを助けたいなら、セイバー自身に人を襲わせて魂を食べさせるしかない。なら答えは一つよ。レイジを使いなさい、エミネ君。それで最悪の事態は避けられるわ。
you're worried for the electric type gem, but you have a ground type. Then again, I guess that doesn't protect you from electricity, it just stops the weakness. I have 2 command spells left. I use one to make Saber attack people so she can devour their souls to replenish her magical energy. If Saber won't recover, we can't defeat Berserker. If we can't defeat Berserker, then he'll kill us. I look at Saber where she lies. We're just letting her suffer at this point. Oh, by the way, Dave, you still have to. I don't know if you did it already, but you still have to update the PDF, the document.
いや、トサカ。それでもセイバーに人を襲わせるのは反対だ。
Besides, we're in the middle of a forest. There's no people to attack.
ええ、今回は私も同意よ。これが他の場所だったらその提案をしたでしょうけどね。でもここはイリアスフィールの庭の中、人の魂なんかどこにもない。あの城の中にはバーサーカーとイリアスフィール以外の誰かがいるかもしれないけど、それを探しに行くのはミスミス七に赴くようなものよ。
食べさせるためには外に出ないといけない。本末転倒になるってことか。
Osaka nods. I'm relieved to not have to make Saber attack people, but then how are we supposed to replenish her Saber's magical energy? You're going to fuck her.
でもどうするんだトサカ。そもそも俺がセイバーに魔力を補充できないから困ってるんだよな。
方法はあるわよ。その昨日ってもう一昨日に説明したでしょ。サーバントに魔力を分け与える方法は共有の魔術とそれ以外にわずかな方法しかないって。あの時はまあこんな状況になるとは思わなかったから言わなかったんだけど。
Let's try to think back to our conversation that night. Now that she mentions it, she said something like,
まあ召喚時にセイバーとパスが通っているはずだからまだ方法があるかもしれないけど。
I think that's what Tosaka said.
思い出した。パスは通ってるから魔術以外の方法があるとかなんとか。
Right? Or did I get that wrong? At the time, I was shocked to learn that I had to make Saber attack people, so I might have misheard her.
トサカ、なんか方法があるのか。
まあね、私がサポートできる範囲で2つ。この状況だと荒っぽい方になるわ。いい？セイバーの魔力不足は素人のパスが不完全だからよ。彼女を回復させるにはこのパスを完全な形に通し直すしかない。
確かにそうできれば一番なんだろうが、俺はパスの通し方なんてわからない。
Saber's summoning was messed up from the start. If I'd been able to make a connection to supply her with magical energy, we wouldn't be in this mess.
話自体は簡単よ。素人セイバーを共感状態にして 霊的なパスをつなぎ直すだけ。契約破棄や最小間以外にパスを修復するためにはそれしかない。そのためにセイバーにシローの魔術回路を移植するの。
Give me 1 second. I'm writing something down. Alright. Huh? Translate my magical circuits to Saber.
セイバーとシローのパスを新しくするには霊的に重要な器官を移植するしかないわ。サーバントとマスターが聖杯の力を借りているのなら、それに匹敵する強い結合を生み出さないとパスは通らない。そのためにはマスターの魔術回路をサーバントに移植する。
I won't read that out loud for you, but what the
シローの
fuck?
力がセイバーには届かないから。
That caught me so off guard. I was not ready for you to admit that. All right. You didn't hear this of me? I got you, bro. I got you. I was not prepared to hear that. Magic circuits. An indispensable mechanism for mages to use odd to activate mana. It's a core of a mage's existence, and without it, the magical energy that serves as source of the mage's power can be created. To mage, their magical circuits are more important than life itself. They see them as thing that gives their
サ
existence
ーバントの
value.
回路をマスターに移植するのは危険すぎるわ。ゴーストライナー、それも英霊の回路は死にゆく人の体に移しても強烈な拒絶反応しかもたらさない。そうなると残された手はシローの回路をセイバーに移植するしかないってこと。でもそれは張り巡らされた神経を引きちぎられることと同じよ。そうなればその負担は
Entirely on the one offering the transplant. Ripping up the nerves is the same as amputating fingers or even arms.
待ってください、リン。それはあまりにもシローに。
そうしないと誰も生き残ることはできない。あなたなら分かっているはずよ、セイバー。
I go up as quietly as I can. I have to get my priorities straight. You don't have time for me to hesitate when the needs to be done is clear. What needs to be done? Reading!
それは成功するのか。
成功させるわ。でも成功させることはそのまま安全につながるわけじゃない。
Well, if we don't do this, we die, so.
失敗させるつもりはさらさらないけど、成功すればシローの魔術回路はセイバーに奪われる。むしろ失敗した方がいいんじゃないかって思えるほどの喪失感と苦痛を生むでしょうね。もし魔術回路を奪われれば、それはシローが
It would mean that my secondary nerve, my missing circuits, would be like a piece torn from my psyche, and would damage the spiritual body's integrity, creating a fatal flaw in me as a mage. I'll never regain that missing piece for as long as I live. My hope of becoming a full-fledged mage from experience alone will die. Once I lose my foundation, my magic circuits, I will always be incomplete, no matter what. I nod for my own sake. Is that all? I'd rather save Saber.
よし、やろう、遠坂。
早っ。決断が早いのはいいけど、本当にどういうことなのか分かってるの？
分かってる。遠坂教えてくれただろ
う。分かってるわけないじゃない。いい？セイバーを救うために私はシローに魔術師として死ねと言ってるようなものなのよ。なのにどうして
Did you forget who you were talking to?
そんなに反論もしないでうなずいて。
This man does not value his own
ないんだ
life.
って。遠坂の考えた最上の計画だからうなずくんだ。もっと自分の計画に自信を持てよ、遠坂。そんな風に慌てるとこっちが不安だ。それにそうしないとセイバーはバーサーカーと戦えないんだろ。
そうよ、そうだって言ってるじゃない。
だろ。それに 俺たちには犠牲がないわけじゃない。あいつが稼いでくれた時間のためにも戦って勝たなきゃいけない。
His stance told me to go. I didn't like him, but if he was willing to risk his life to protect his master, Tosaka, I can't back out now.
いいわ。始めましょう、シロ。
セイバーもいいか。俺の魔術回路を移植するってことなんだが。
はい。それがマスターの判断なら。
I hear neither affirmation nor denial in a verse. But her eyes seem filled with regret. I guess Tosaka is going to prepare us for the transplant. I don't know how the procedure, so I'll just leave it all to Tosaka. Alright, Day. Thanks for hanging out.
まずはセイバーからね。シロは魔術回路をオンにしたまま、できるだけ心を乱さないように待機していて。
I close my eyes and switch over the artificial nerve in my body. Thanks to Tosaka's instruction, I've been able to turn my circuits on and off effortlessly. A red flower entangles with the white flower. Okay. Tosaka climbs up to straddle Saber, who lies still. Then she begins to run her fingers freely along the curves of Saber's again slender form.
待て、トサカ。お前、セイバーに何をする気だ？
何って、セイバーにもリラックスしてもらおうと思って。セイバーが力を抜いてくれないと成功率が下がっちゃうし。
Straddling her was to help her relax?
ああ、そういうことか。悪い。続けてくれ。
ええ、どうも。それじゃあ服を脱ぎましょうか、セイバ
ー。Oh, okay. I don't think I'll need it, but, you know, just in case. Where am I? Where's all my stuff? Okay, yeah, there it is.
は？
いちいち驚かないの。脱ぐって言っても一部だけよ。魔術回路の移植は精神と体の融合よ。できるだけ接触を多くして遮蔽を少なくしなきゃいけないでしょ。
Tosaka is completely calm about this. Saber and I are the only two who are flustered about this as Tosaka begins undoing Saber's collar.
待ってください、リン。それで
That's
したら
not what that said. Tosaka begins undoing Saber's collar.
腕を上げるのも辛いくせに強がらないで。はあ、それともエミヤくん、マスターの責務としてセーバーを自分で脱がせたいとか。
I want to call her a fool, but I stepped my mouth shut. All jokes aside, I'm not suited to the task like that. If I had to do it, I wouldn't be able to maintain my composure. You're not maintaining your composure now.
よろしい。そういうわけだから白も脱ぎなさい。は、上着脱ぐだけでいいから。下まで全部脱いだら殺すからね。
I can't tell if she's joking or being serious. It seems like I need to strip to connect to Saber, though.
白、お願いです。しばらく背を向けていていただけないでしょうか。
わかった。準備ができたら言ってくれ。
I turn away and fold the shirt I was wearing. I try to distract myself and hide how nervous I am by folding up the shirt neatly, sleeves and all. That makes that bro. I cannot explain to you how more nervous that probably made you. You could be hyper fixating on how perfect the creases in the folds are.
はい。だいぶ楽になりましたが。
I need to calm down. I try to get my fear under control as I find myself dreading how painful and difficult the magic circuit transplant will be and how I might fail. This is just a step along the path. I should be more worried about the fight with Berserker that comes after this.
いいわよ、シロ。
ああ。
No, okay, that's not even that bad. Don't forget to breathe. I've seen her bare skin before, but I've never seen Saber like I'm seeing her now as she lies in bed. There must be all this tension in the air. It's not just me, Saber is acting weird too. I see where this is going. I told you they were gonna fuck. Although, this is probably not what's gonna happen. Not in this version of the game. That said, I expected to see a lot more, and, you know, that's fine. Now I don't have to cover the screen with the sensor.
シロ、こっち。ここに上がってセイバーに覆いかぶさって。
It's like someone else is controlling my body. I'm walking toward the bed, but it doesn't seem real to me.
セイバー、同調までは私がやるわ。それからあとはあなたにお願いするけど、持っていきすぎないように注意して。少なければ少ないほど、シロの負担は減るから。
Sorry, I'm processing the sentence because I'm not understanding it. I'll have you take over after that, but make sure not to take too much. The less you take, the less the burden on Shiro would be.
わかりました。
Okay.
お願いします。リン。
I have no idea what they're saying. Right now, it's all I can do to breathe. We get even closer. We're so close our skin is almost touching. I feel Saber's weak breath on me. I support my weight on my hands. My body's so close to
変
hers.
革準備。実質。棒が接続開始。
The chant begins. I try to focus my consciousness on what's happening to clear my mind so I can sympathize with Saber.
小さく、小さく、小さく、小さく。円環航路開始。
I only see Saber's face. He's already in a meditative state. I can't keep my eyes on her open forever. I reluctantly close my eyes. Hello, Detsuno.
大きく、大きく、大きく、大きく。愛路行動、連続閉鎖。
I don't know what the decision to make it German was. My senses begin to fade, same as floating sensation as when I create my magical circuit energy every night. The feeling of my ego, my mind leaving my body. This time, though, it's running in reverse. Normally feel a sensation coming from my back, but now my consciousness is escaping from my chest. The five senses are functions associated with the physical body. The moment my consciousness leaves my body, I lose my sense of hearing. But my ears are more sensitive to Saber's breathing. Her slow, steady breathing begins to speed up. I hear the heart pounding in my chest. The blood rushes through my veins. I leave the vessel known as Shiryo and Mia and slide into her body. That's okay. I don't like the phrasing on that. My consciousness sinks deeper into her. Myself swirls and converges, invading her as a solid crystal. Pulsing, hot breath, our bodies, not our bodies, touch. Our hearts, not our bodies, touch. Her voice rings out like a bell. And in response, my essence escapes my physical body. My senses are transformed. I have no hands, no legs, no self, but I continue on in its bare state. Time seems to flow backwards. Instead of flying, I feel like I'm being left behind. I accelerate. The body, persona, order, law, I become an arrow, shattering every barrier around me, destroying the boundary that separates one person from another. Sparks race along the circuit. I freeze in ecstasy and reaching the speed of light. He's gonna build, isn't he? They say a person's life flashes by in a single instant. The flashbacks are cruel, every instant passing by in a blink of an eye. I can't look at it directly, so I find myself going emotionally numb. So this is a mental journey. I'm reminded just how comforting our physical bodies, our anchors, can be. I visualize the foundation of magecraft. The human operation is quantified. don't get what's going on right now. Are we doing a mind dive or something? I thought you knew what was going on. Or did you play the original and not the remaster, so you really don't know what's going on? Hundreds of institutions, millions of joints form a circle. The endless complex patterns are in fact just a highway formed by simple repetition, all heading into the vastness of the future. It's like a vehicle of some kind heading toward the darkened city of light. I only watched the other series. I see. Basically, we're transplanting our magic circuits into Saber because Saber she's without power, basically. Here in the present, my thoughts pass by at the speed of light. Cool visual. Eternity passes in an instant. I pass through the last boundary. I break through and I'm inside. Do better. I see a glimpse of Altria's magic circuits, not my own. The changes are extreme. The speed and light of the world vanish all at once. Here it is dark. Here it is heavy. The pressure of it pushes against my bodiless form. The air is so thick I may as well be underwater. My body sinks, feeling only the agony of being clamped in a vice. The path is deep, and I can't see the bottom. I feel myself fall through the thick twilight, plummeting deeper into an even denser darkness. It seems impossible that just a moment ago I traveled 10,000 miles in the blink of an eye. Now, even going a single mile seems like it would be an arduous, eternal journey. I feel neither light nor hope. Are these really Saber's magic circuits? They're completely different from mine. The shape of the circuits, the number of pathways, all that differs from person to person, but this is unlike anything else. This isn't a matter of scale or ability. Saber's magic circuits are fundamentally different than a mage's. The path rumbles. Every time it does, my tiny self nearly shatters. I don't know what Saber's magical circuits are like, but I can tell the sympathizing magecraft is functioning properly. This is not a failure. The dark, heavy pressure of this place doesn't seem like Saber, but this is also not an impure place. It's brimming with life. The flowing air is blood in a swirl of magical energy. I realize I've forgotten to breathe. I haven't needed to. Sinking is painful, but it's not life-threatening. I look up in the darkness I've sunken into. I seem to be past the point of no return. I can't see anything in the darkness. I'm submerging gradually, but the distance ahead is infinite. That's me! The air grows even heavier. My rate of descent slows yet again. I squint into the darkness. Cool visual. The seemingly endless road does have an end. I feel the heat of Saber's body. I feel her every breath so close. The final destination. Reach the source of Saber's magic circuits, the center of her mental world. But what I see is beyond my capacity to understand. It's the core of a star. I've reached the embodiment of some impossible scorching heat, breathing from the depths of the earth. A fiery red surface swirls, and then there's a splash like a stagnant mud. At the bottom, there lies a giant shadow, its fiery eyes fixed on a tiny intruder. Whether its master gave the intruder permission to enter or not it is still a foreign invader. In the face of this core, my own conscience is barely a mote of dust to disturb its function, or a piece of wood to feed its fire. I gulp even though I have no throat to swallow with. I take in the entire scene. These are Saber's magical circuits. My heart, beyond anything human, A heart beyond anything human, so different from ours, which we imagine as lines and circuits. This is our reactor core. If a mage's body is a machine for creating magical energy, then what I'm seeing right now is an entire factory. But the core isn't active. The key that should activate the core, the spark of power to bring the whole thing to life, has been cut off. Despite the overwhelming ability this core has to produce massive amounts of magical energy, it lacks initial charge to activate itself. It floats overhead. It floats overhead, a stagnant sea of fuel. No matter how much undiluted magical energy fills the endless space, it's useless. It needs to ignite. Even a tiny spark could do the trick. As long as the pathway for magical energy is connected, the core will roar back to life. And to do that, something beyond human knowledge awakens. Pathways running over the lake of magical energy begin to swirl. Red air explodes upward like a raging pillar. Is this what it's like to stand in a thundercloud? So intense is the roar of the raging waves that I don't even properly hear it. In the same way, something too massive can't be properly seen, the roar is its own kind of silence to me. What appears at the heart of the blazing core is an embodiment of every threat mankind carries in their hearts. It has been said that the king is a red dragon that symbolizes Britain. Phantasmal blood runs in their veins, the child of a sacred star. A dragon, a ruler that symbolizes the symbol of so many phantasmal species, objects of both awe and fear. The pinnacle of all beasts, appearing at the time as demons, as times of God. This is what lies in Saber's subconscious. His otherworldly form suits the servant said to be the best. The cauldron opens. Vicious fangs are all I see. There can be no resistance. Humans, which paled to insignificance before this, could never defend against it. No human intelligence could ever conceive of a way to escape. Oh. It must be famished. It devoured its prey, which would normally seem as inconsequential as motes of dust, but with bloodshot eyes. And I am completely at a loss for words. I wonder, why do we not eat living meals? It's obvious. We cannot bear to see our food alive. We prefer fresh food, but rarely do we eat anything alive, because we feel it's cruel for our food to suffer. In other words, killing the meat we consume before we eat it is the best way of preserving its dignity. A scream of rage tears its way from my throat. I forget who I am and roar like a beast. I try to appeal to the beast. The hatred builds within me. My only resistance is bearing at my emotions. I beg for mercy, like a crucified sinner as I'm ground to meat. My consciousness grows hazy, muddled. Every purpose and meaning in my life falls away. Any hope of retaining my sanity is as long as gone as creation itself. The pain, the pressure, they're far, far too much. And then, when I came to see it only as a monster. Even once I'd learned of this hell, I believe I can endure it. The image of Saber, her head hanging low, comes back to me. I recall the meaning of this pain. The meaning drives me forward. It is a literal painful reminder of what I came here to do. I draw in a deep breath and let go of my resistance. It's not the dragon's fangs I should be fighting, but the pain twisting through me. I'm not here to run from the pain. I'm here to save her pain, to live up to her trust she's placed in me time and time again. And so, I'm here to give her the best thing that I, who has no hope of fighting, can give. The pain is indescribable. I can't reach out to my ground my what? I can't reach out to my ground to down what? I can't reach out to my ground down consciousness. Jesus Christ. I hold my awareness like a blade, silently as if I were asleep. Here, eternity is but an instant. As long as I can endure this pain, even for an instant, my consciousness will remain. Alright, then. I won't let myself feel an ounce of fear. I shall dedicate this pain to you, who will be the one to fight. The pain instantly fades. The red dragon is gone and my consciousness gradually floats back to the surface. Am I weightless because I lost something? As if I'm floating back to the water surface, as I float back to the water surface, I feel myself begin to rise up above the reactor. But wait, there's something I want to check before. It's so warm. A dull throbbing hum issues from the reactor as it burns with a golden light. The elaborate magic circuits shine with a rainbow hue and begin circulation. Fire is lit. I may be an untrained amateur as a mage, but today I felt my role as her lord. I surrender my body to the wind and float upwards. I catch a glimpse of a distant memory. A figure holding a sword and a figure standing in a grassy field as it dances in the wind. Which one did I find reminiscent? I feel sunlight on my eyelids and slowly open them. Dazed and confused, I check over my own body. My arms and legs are fine. I don't see any wounds. Maybe the pain faded the moment I was able to endure it? My physical wounds, and even the mental scars, have seemed to have healed.
Shiro.
I hear a weak voice from under me. Huh? The feeling of her soft skin immediately makes me realize who's speaking and the position we're in. Saber is lying on the bed with her blouse in disarray, while Tosaka is sleeping, cradling her knees to her chest. Tosaka may be fine, but Saber has been under me for like this the whole time.
Ohayo, Saber.
はい。おはようございます、シロ。
We exchange awkward pleasantries. Saber slowly gets up and rearranges her blouse. Crap. We're embarrassed, so we can't look each other in the eye.
もう起きられるようになったんだ、Saber.
Oh, I think I know what happened through the entire sequence. Yes, I do as well. I was actually very prepared to censor the screen, but luckily I didn't need to.
はい。魔力の供給を受けられるようになりましたので。
She seems to be back to her normal self. When I carried her here last night, she was so weak. It seems she might disappear at any moment, but that weakness is gone now.
そうか。よかった。成功したんだ。魔術回廊の移植は。
To be fair, the description of what was happening too was very unsubtle as well. Like he literally said the words, I slide into her.
はい。ですから服を着ていただけませんか、シロ。その格好のままだと私もなぜか話しづらい。
I looked down at myself.
そうか、そうだよな。そうだった。
I hastily reached for my neatly folded shirt. That was nice that Tosaka to fold it up like that. Wait, no, I did that. Why don't I fold it so tight? With the dragon imagery, it must have been intense. It's so fucking cool. Like, the whole entire sequence was cool as fuck. I vividly recall last night's ritual. I connected with Saber and Tosaka transplanted my magic circuits deep within Saber. Looks like she's back up to normal, but what happened to me? Tosaka warned that my body and mind may not be able to handle the loss of magic circuits, but I don't feel much damage, nor any huge sense of loss. I was a little scared, but I checked my magic circuits myself. The idea of seeing for myself just how much I've lost is terrifying, but we're heading into battle against Berserker. I need to understand my own condition. I don't know how to explain it. The overall, excuse me, my Sorry. The overall function of my magic circuits feels sluggish, but there doesn't seem to be any obvious damage. I was chewed to pieces, but my magic circuits are still intact. It looks like I'll still be able to do my strengthening magecraft. I assume that magic circuits I really used were one of the ones that Tosaka took. I only activate 1 to 4 circuits when I do strengthening, since I can't do large-scale magecraft anyway. I never fully activated all my circuits, so she transplanted the circuits I don't use to Saber. I closed my eyes to assess my situation. It seems like this won't affect my strengthening magecraft. But this sluggishness, like I'm wading through water, is because my capacity for magecraft has decreased. In exchange, though, I feel that I'm connected to something more important deep inside myself. I can't tell exactly where it's coming from, but there's a faint line that connects me and Saber. I've gained something truly important in exchange for the loss of circuits. Saber speaks up from somewhere behind me.
シロの回路を得る際に必要最小限に留めるよう努力はしました。ですが、その最低限の量ですら人から得るには多すぎた。もしやシロに消せない傷跡を残してしまったかと思うと、謝罪の言葉も見当たりません。これは私の不覚です。私が書くも力足らずでなければ、シロには。
そんなことはない。セイバーは謝らなくていいんだ。そもそもの原因は俺が魔力の供給をできないでいてセイバーに迷惑をかけていたからだろ。でもそれもこれで解決した。これからはちゃんと魔力の供給ができる。ああ、これで本当に胸を張ってセイバーのマスターだって口にできる。
ですがシロ、
俺の魔術回路のことは気にしなくていいよ。どうせ使わないものみたいだし、むしろない方がスッキリする。
Ah, blatantly lying. Saber's expression remains clouded. Crap, I never know what to say at times like these. Saber's recovered, and I survived even after the loss of some of my magic circuits. Saber's magic circuits, the dream of light and wind, and Saber in her youth. And on top of that, we spent the night touching skins. Oh my god, touching! Would you scare? Would you scare? That was a ritual for our survival. Yes, you could describe sex as a ritual for survival, yes. I need to calm my mind. If I don't focus, I can mess up during battle. The sleeping rhythm of Tosaka's breathing halts and she grunts. Looks like Tosaka's awake too.
おはようございます、リン。
よう、Tosaka。おはよう。
See Tosaka's hair shift. Then her head tilts up. She's not a morning person at all and doesn't look her usual sharp self at all.
Thank you, Tosaka. ちゃんと成功したぞ。
はい。私の魔力の補充はできました。ですがその代わりシロに。
いや、なくなったのは3割ぐらいだと思うから大丈夫。これくらいならなんとか。
3割ですか。なんとか最小にとどめたというのに、それでも3割とは。我がことながら、なんと強欲な。
Alright, relax. It's not like he was that good of a mage anyway.
強欲か。そうだな。腹ペコだったにしても、もう少し行儀よくしてほしかったな。
Tosaka joining us helps dispel the awkwardness between Saber and me. Now we're back to normal.
そう、じゃあいいわね。
Are you sure? You're just waking up. Tosaka yawns and gets to her feet. It's almost time for the battle. Somewhere in the forest, Berserker and Iliasvale. Oh wait. If we don't defeat the hurricane of death, everything we did last night was for nothing. All the not sex we had, the connection that we created between me and Saber deep in our hearts. To protect what we created, we'll have to defeat the most powerful enemy of all. Okay, interlude. Are we gonna switch to Berserker? Their battle comes to an end. Oh, we're switching to Archer. We're gonna see what happened with him. The two fought fiercely and it ended with the disappearance of a Red Knight. Damn, he fucked it up though. Now a shadow of its former glory, the reception room is in ruins. The floors are cracked and broken. Many of its walls have been knocked down. The stairs have collapsed and broken. Reading! The stairs have collapsed and broken marble is scattered across the floor. There is hardly a trace of the reception room's original form. Some might even say the time itself has stolen from this space. After such a vast destruction, the scene bears no resemblance to what it was just 2 hours ago. A sculpture, well-suited to such destruction, stands in the middle of it all. Standing over 2 meters tall, it bears the crude likeness of a man, as if roughly hacked out of stone. Hardly bears mentioning. This is Iliasvale's servant Berserker. The giant does not move. His entire body is splattered with red, with several holes torn through it. Not a single inch of the giant's body isn't wounded. 1. Both legs appear on the verge of collapse. 2. A massive gash on the neck. 3. Arm is practically hanging off the elbows. 4. Something has pierced through the shoulder to the groin. From shoulder to groin. 5. Blood gushes from its chest. 6. Its belly is torn open. Berserker is not moving. He will. It's clear a corpse. The battle itself lasted less than an hour. The result? Unexpected. Berserker's master is beside herself. She should have been picking up what remains of her prey, but instead she stands there, staring at the devastation. No fucking clue. And mind you, Archer was not fighting at full power. He does not know what his fucking noble phantasm is. Or maybe he does know what his noble phantasm is, but he doesn't know who he is. Her voice is as a low mumble now. The battle came as a humiliation to her. Her servant is the most powerful. Among all heroic spirits, maybe 1 or 2 could compete with Heracles, the most renowned hero of all time. And yet, some unknown archer defeated him. The Red Knight fought on equal ground with Berserker and in the end, even killed Berserker, which nobody else has even thought possible. And for that, he can never be forgiven. To Ilia, it is as though she's just been stabbed in the heart by a passing insect. She prided herself on being the strongest master. For her to lose to the sword she should have so casually trampled must be unthinkable. The motherfucker killed him 6 times? The statue doesn't answer. There's neither the time nor the need to do so. Berserker stands still, focusing on healing himself. Even for him, that was an unusual battle. His noble phantasm nullifies any attack, so as long as the attack is not at the highest possible class, it won't so much as scratch him. As such, he rarely sustained any wound. In his own time, none could harm him after he attained greatness. But here, now, he's been hurt 6 times. Archer delivered 6 fatal blows. Each of his attacks was different, was of a different sort. That is because even the strongest attacks won't work twice on Berserker. Strange as this battle was, the most truly bizarre part was, if Archer was a hero with so many different abilities, his identity should have been obvious. But even after his body was pulverized, Archer's identity remained a mystery. What was really surprising was how he carried himself in a way that seemed contradictory as a servant. A faint light flickers in the pupils of Berserker's eyes. For Berserker, a normal, rational servant, he made him feel pretty bad about how that battle went. Whatever his identity might have been, Archer was a rare and formidable adversary. If only Berserker's sanity hadn't been taken from him, he would have fought to his heart's content, and maybe even enjoyed himself. Ilya's voice echoes in the shattered hall. Whatever tiny embers of rationality might have been returning to him are immediately stuffed out by her voice. He's just Berserker now. His role is to overwhelm and annihilate his master's enemies. Berserker does not need to answer. So long as the wound doesn't kill him, he'll heal in moments. But to completely recover from this wound would take as much as 3 days. The giant silently objects. It's almost instinctive. At least when it comes to a fight, Berserker has instincts similar to Saber's. He can certainly destroy his enemy easily enough, but if Saber has recovered enough that she can use her noble phantasm, that will be a different story. Berserker will not fall to a mere secret sword, but there is always a small chance of something going wrong. His instincts tell him that he should be completely prepared before facing this servant. Ilya hops down from the stairs. She walks through the rubble to the exit without a moment's concern for Berserker, bloodied as he is. But suddenly, she stops as if remembering something. Ilya heads out of the castle, giggling happily. The sun is about to rise. Elliot knows the forest like the back of her hand. She won't have any trouble finding her prey, even if they try to hide. Her targets only have minutes to live. But that was terrifying. And I don't know why, but I'm forced out of the ruins. Osaka kicks me out, saying that girls have to make some adjustments and changing and stuff like that. Okay. This is true. I lean against the wall as I grumble. I guess I sound like a sore loser, and that's exactly it. I remember, and then I try to shake off my desires. I can't think about that right now. If I keep living on my memories with Saber, I'm a dead man. More than anything, it would be rude to Saber. I made a contract with Saber to Saber. I shouldn't have any other feelings for Saber. What a crock. It's such a pathetic excuse, even I don't believe it. I can't forget what happened with Saber. But I need to. For now. Honestly, I don't have time to worry about that kind of stuff. Our concern right now is how to fight Berserker. I think back to Archer. I never warmed up to him, but every word he said stuck with me. I stare at the tree branch. There's only so much I can do. I may not be much help, but I'm gonna do whatever I can, as best I can. For starters, I snap off a nearby tree branch. And I try to find other straight branches. Tosaka's voice reaches me in my search. I head back to the ruins, carrying the branches I collected. Well, the only problem is whether I can act anything approaching normal around Saber after looking into her heart, however briefly.
こちらです、シロ。リンから話があるそうです。
I guess I was worrying over nothing. Saber's her usual self. Unlike me, immature as I am, she probably just approaching things pragmatically.
ああ、今行く。
Damn, I'm not gonna let this get me down. I'm so damn dumb, being the only one blushing over this, so I'm gonna do my best to keep my composure.
来たわね。それじゃあ作戦会議を始めるけど、会議って言っても口論し合う暇はないわ。バーサーカーを倒す方法も限られているし、とりあえず私の話を聞いてもらえる？
Saber and I nod.
作戦としては単純よ。まともな方法じゃバーサーカーとは勝負にならない。勝つためには奇襲。仕掛けたのなら反撃させずに一撃で首を落とすのが絶対条件だと思う。
同感です。バーサーカーと打ち合ったところであれには致命傷を与えられません。倒すのならば打ち合いの外から消すべきでしょう。
打ち合いの外からって、バーサーカーが俺たちに気づく前に先回りして襲うってことか。そりゃあいつと正面から戦うのは無謀だけど、そっちの方はもっと無謀だ。あいつが奇襲なんてさせる玉か。
ええ、バーサーカーに気づかれずに近寄るなんて都合のいい作戦はやらないわよ。あっちにはイリアスフィールがいるんだもの。少なくともセイバーとシローの気配は簡単に感知されるわ。私は気配を隠せるから大丈夫だけど。
I don't understand the logic, but I get the sense that Ilya can detect me and Saber. Maybe Tosaka's the only one who can conceal herself.
まさか奇襲をするのは遠坂だって言うんじゃないだろうな。
当然でしょ。一番に狙われてるのはシローなんだし。この
But
中
that
で
is
一
not
番
true.
動
She
きや
wants
すい
you
のは
dead,
私だもの。
and she wants us to suffer.
隙をついて後ろからバッサリやるのは任せなさい。
後ろからバッサリって、バーサーカーがそんな甘いわけないだろ。
そりゃそうよ。だからセイバーに隙を作ってもらうの。セイバー、体はどのくらい回復した？
通常戦闘ならば問題はありません。ですが宝具の使用は避けるべきです。今の魔力ではおそらく使った瞬間に体を維持できなくなる。たとえ使ったとしても純度は落ちていますから、バーサーカーを倒せるとは思えません。
ええ、それで十分よ。セイバーにはバーサーカーと打ち合ってもらうわ。もちろんシロも一緒で、私は隠れて様子を見る。イリアスフィールから見れば私はおまけみたいなものだし、いなければ二人を見捨てて逃げたとか思うんじゃないかしら。
はあ、それはまあ可能性はなくはありませんが。
可能性が低いならあげて。シローはイリアスフィールと仲がいいみたいだし、うまく話せば騙せるんじゃない？
Princess looks at me meaningfully.
反論はあるけど引き受けた。遠坂は逃げたって言えばイリアはまず信じるよ。あの子は人の言葉を疑わないと思う。
だとしても問題はあります。私がバーサーカーと対峙するのはいい。ですがシローに同じことはさせられません。シローではバーサーカーの一撃に耐えられない。
誰もシローに殴り合えなんて言ってないわ。シローはセイバーから離れて後方支援。セイバーだけじゃバーサーカーを押し切るのは難しいから、危なくなったら助けてあげて。
バカな。シローはリンのように魔術に長けてはいない。援護と言っても何を。
それはシローが考えて。もっともバーサーカー相手だとマスターが介入する余裕なんてないわ。シローだけじゃなくて私だって手を出せばセイバーの足を引っ張るもの。それでも一人だって遊ばせる余裕はないの。シローが殺されればセイバーもおしまいっていうのは分かってるけど、ここはそうしてもらうわ。初めから賭け事みたいな戦いなんだから。
それはそうですが。
Saber makes a face and falls silent. Since Tosaka's gone quiet too, she must understand how reckless her proposal is. I can't blame them for being worried. The night I met Saber, the night Berserker attacked, the only thing I managed to use to defend her was my own body. There's a strong possibility that we're headed toward a repeat of what happened last night. So while it may be for the best for me to distance myself from the battlefield, I'm not going to do so unless they force me to. I'm waiting for him to like make the sword that he saw. Is it really that much of a surprise? I grabbed the tree branches I gathered earlier as I say that. They're just the right length and exactly the right kind of flexibility. This is the first time I've done this kind of strengthening. But I don't think I'm wrong in principle here. Basically, I just need to layer my strengthening until it turns into something substantial. Besides, he has something like this too, so I can use it as reference. On top of that, magical energy has been flowing through my body for a while now. All I have to do is repeat my usual process. I analyzed its basic structure and change it. I analyze the material composition and reinforce it. Starting from the branch, my result should be his bow, but something's missing. I need to think of its form from the standpoint of creation. If I want to make something as close as possible to the real thing, I need to envision everything I can about it, down to the smallest detail. I opened my eyes. The warp branch was the right shape, but something wasn't. It's ugly, distorted, and yet I can tell it's fine as a bow. But now I have to create an arrow following the same concept.
Shiro, 今の。
シンジとの一件でなんとなくコツが分かった。遠坂も言ってただろ。力みすぎるなって。
そう。まあ手段ができたのはいいことだし、今はいいわ。話を戻すけど、とにかく2人にはバーサーカーと戦ってもらう。私はあらかじめ木に登って上から様子を観察してるから。で、セイバーがなんとかバーサーカーに隙を作ったら、死角である頭上からとっておきの宝石を使い切ってバーサーカーを
I feel like that attack would just not work, right?
作戦としてはそれだけの単純なものだけど。
Tosaka turns her attention to us, checking whether we have any questions.
宝石というのは輪の魔術ですか？だとしても生半可な魔術ではバーサーカーの体には届きません。彼を傷つけるには最大純度の攻撃でなければならないのですから。
分かってる。要するに A 判定の攻撃でないとダメなんでしょ？
As she says this, Tosaka pulls several jewels from her pockets.
その宝石は？
私が物心ついた時からために貯めた貯金みたいなものよ。これ一つで A 判定の大魔術を即座に発生させられる。10個あったんだけどね。一つはあなたに使っちゃったわ。
そうか。あの時の魔術ならば確かにバーサーカーは防げない。彼には私のような対魔力はありません。魔術であってもそれが A 判定ならば問題なく貫通する。
Well, now that we know the plan,
そういうことよ。
how is it gonna fall
本当は小出
apart?
ししていこうと思ったけど、悠長なことは言ってられないわ。
I can say this almost with full
特別に2
confidence.
つか3つは叩き込んでやるんだから。
If any form of media tells you a plan of what's supposed to happen, it is not about to happen. The most obvious case is with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because a protagonist or whatever character thinks, oh, I'm gonna do all of these things. If they think that at all, they're about to get cooked. Tosaka puffs out her chest confidently. However,
おい、なんか半端にせこくないか、お前。
同感です。私が言えることではありませんが、せめて半分使い切るぐらいの気前の良さが必要だと思うのですが。
何よ、そんなの人の勝手でしょ。あなたたちね、私がどれほど苦労してここまで貯めたって思ってるのよ。
Well, you're trying to kill him. Saber and I protest silently. Osaka's life depends on this operation too. We can't let ourselves fail just because she's being stingy.
わかったわよ。半分使えばいいんでしょ、使えば。何よ、言ってみただけじゃない。私だってそれくらい分かってるんだから。とにかく作戦はそれだけよ。あとは私が隠れられて、シロがセーバーの援護をしやすい場所を探さなくちゃ。イリアスフィールが来る前にいい場所を見つけましょう。
Yeah, we can't stay in these ruins anymore. Like Tosaka said, we need to find a place where we can all lie in wait for Berserker. But before that... I'm gonna choose to be worried about Tosaka. I mean, she did just lose Archer. Hope I'm wrong, but Osaka won't be stingy about her gems, will she? Oh, that's not what I meant. No, if we're talking about that, I'm gonna be worried about fucking I'm gonna worry about Saber then. Actually, you know what? Let me check something. Let me check the flowchart. Okay, now we're good. No, I thought we were gonna be like, I'm worried about Tosaka. She's not gonna be an asshole, is she?
ちょい待ち。繰り返すけど、本当に出し惜しみはなしだぞ、登坂。そりゃ、宝石は高価なものだけど、お前の命には変えられないんだから。
うちの財政を知らないからそんな無責任なことが言えるのよ。シロだってこれ一つがどのくらいするか知ったら腰が抜けるに決まってるんだから。
金の話で腰なんか抜けるか。いいぜ、そこまで言うなら責任持ってやる。使った分の宝石、俺と登坂で折半にすればいいんだろ
う。本当？男に二言はない？
ない。俺だって少しは貯金あるし、足りなかったら稼いで返す。登坂が溜め込んだ武器を使ってもらうわけだし、俺だって少しは誠意見せないと。
I'm not sure if you know what you're saying. Okay, I might be making this offer out of pride. I guess I want Tosaka to see me in a positive light no matter what.
なんだよ。口元いびつにねじ曲がってるぞ、登坂。
ええ、嬉しいのは本当だし、楽しみができたのも本当だから。ところでエミヤくん、この宝石一つどれくらいするのか聞かなくていいのかしら？
まあ10万円ぐらいなんてことはないよ
な。ないわね。使い捨ての宝石ならそれぐらいでいいんだけど。
じゃあ20万円ぐらい。
Bro, doubling the amount does not work.
半端な上がり方ね。でもないわよ。
じゃあ25万円じゃない。
She still didn't go up higher.
あのさ、普通こういう時って次の桁に移行しない？なんでいつまでも6の桁から上に行かないのよ。
言いたくないけど30万円とか。
だからなんで7桁に行かないの？
もしかして100万円ですか？
The ground is falling away at my feet.
近い。もう一桁。
Jesus. Am I about to fall right into the bowels of hell itself? That's astronomical. I never heard of a number so devastating before. If I were to turn that number into points of damage, I could beat any video game boss in a heartbeat. That's not true. The Final Fantasy,
どうしたの？
yeah, what was it, 11?
顔は青いわよ、エミヤくん。
いや、大丈夫。ちゃんと計算ぐらいできる。
Hello? That was a weird, really long pause. I can calculate it. Oh, okay.
じゃあ一応聞いておくけど、宝石使っていいのよね。出し惜しみなしですがすがしいぐらい派手にやるわよ、私。
I can calculate all right, and it's hurting even more than math ever should. Well, I mean, math sucks. In fact, when I decided to just not going to use them sparingly.
借金いいかな
I try to sound as brave as I can.
もちろん、利子はつけないであげるから、一生かけて返してね。
Tosaka clearly isn't joking. Even if I spent my whole life working to do so, I'd never be able to pay that back. Rather not think about it, but I think Tosaka is going to be in charge of my life from now on. We reach a clearing in the forest. I wonder what the fucking the Saber one was. The sun is rising and the white layer of morning mist blankets like the forest. Compared to the much denser forest around us, this is a good vantage point.
ここ悪くないんじゃないのか
そうね。条件はいくらかクリアしてるけど、見晴らしが良すぎるのがどうもね。これじゃあ私はともかくセイバーとシローの逃げ道がないもの。
Osaka is such a perfectionist if she's even considering escape routes.
他は渡りましょう。大丈夫。まだ時間はあるわ。
Tosaka returns to the forest. But Saber stands motionless, staring off into the distance.
セイバー、何してるのよ。早くしないとイリアスフィールに。
A chill runs up my spine. I can never forget this feeling. I can't see him or feel his presence. But the sudden weight of air pressing down on me is definitely coming from him. My pen! My pen isn't working! Holy shit. Haley's voice echoes from somewhere in the forest. Beyond the mist. From deeper in the forest, a dark figure approaches. Maybe it's because we're in a clearing with an open view of the sky, but it feels like Illy is peeking down at us from above the clouds.
やば、あいつもうシロを見つけたの？まずい、ここじゃ視界が広すぎる。何よこのスピード、これじゃあ2分かからない。ちょっと何のんびりしてるのよ2人とも。
Well, running isn't gonna solve anything. First off, Saber has to fight directly. And I suppose Shiro could fucking run, but I mean, I do guess we know where he's coming from, but like still, I feel like that's dangerous at this point.
ここじゃまずいって言ってるでしょ。早く場所を変えないと。
Tosaka grabs our hands, but it's too late.
いや、ここでいい、登坂。3人で戦えるだけでも良好なんだ。これ以上は求められない。
バカ、それがまずいんだってば。ここじゃ横幅がありすぎるの。セイバーだけじゃバーサーカーを止められないし、いくら離れてたってあんたも前に入っちゃうじゃない。
登坂が心配してくれてるのは分かってる。けど危険なのはみんな一緒だ。それにこうなっちゃ逃げ道なんかないんじゃないのか。
それはそうだけど。
セイバーもいいな。ここでバーサーカーを迎え撃つ。
Saber nods quietly.
もう分かったわよ。簡単にやられたら怒るからね。
Tosaka, apparently convinced, disappears into the mist. When she goes into action, she acts quickly. She darts into the forest and then scrambles up a tree.
来るぞセイバー。準備はいいか。
あなたも。戦いが始まったら決してここから前には出ないように。何があろうとバーサーカーをここには近づけさせません。
The mist wavers. Out of the morning fog, a dark shadow spreads across the clearing. A mad warrior led by a pale girl steps into view.
意外ね。てっきり最後まで逃げ回るとばかり思ってたのに。それとももう観念したの、お兄ちゃん。
Ilya is about 40 meters from me. We face each other from the opposite ends of the clearing.
セイバーは治ったんだ。そっか。だから逃げ回るのはやめにしたのね。欲しいな。そんなことで私に勝てると思うのは可愛いんだけど。残念ね。シロはここで死ぬんだもの。
It goes echo in the forest. Apparently that takes her off. Saber, still standing beside me, is practically vibrating with animosity. She might as well launch herself forward at any moment. She might launch herself forward at any moment.
もうつまんないな。ずいぶん無口になっちゃったのね。もしかして殺されるのは怖いの？そんなのもったいないよ。今命乞いをすれば私も許してあげないこともないんだから。
Sokka's probably in position. She'll probably want to be as close to the center of the clearing as she can. There's a spot where the tree branches overlap, so she'll be sturdy enough to support her weight.
そう。あくまでそういう態度なんだ。なら、もうおしゃべりはここまでだね。待ちなさい。リンはどうしたの？シロ。
I have to give it to Berserker's master. She knows better than to overlook any details.
遠坂はここにはいない。あいつと俺たちは塔に別れた。
別行動をとったの？そっか。セイバーを連れてるシロは足手まといだものね。リン一人ならもっと遠くに逃げられる。
そういうことだ。もうとっくに森を出てるだろう。今から追っても間に合わないぞ。
そうかしら。この森はアインツベルンの結界よ。誰が入ってきて誰が出ていったかぐらいはわかるんだから。あれから外に出た人間は一人もいない。リンはまだ森にいるわ。探し出すのはこの後でも十分よ。
That's a relief. If Ilya only detects who's going in and out of the forest, then she doesn't know where Tosaka is now. That, and she believed my story pretty easily. Ilya truly is a merciless master.
But is she too merciless to have a chance to start over?
イリア、戦う前にもう一度だけ聞くぞ。マスターを辞めて、こんな戦いをやめることはできないのか？
できないよ。おじいさまの言いつけだもの。バーサーカーがいる限り、私はアインツベルンのマスターなの。イリアは他のマスターたちを殺して聖杯を持ち帰らなくちゃいけないんだから。それにもう一度だけ聞くのはこっちだよ。私はアインツベルンの当主だから、あんな言葉二度は言わないわ。けどシローが答え直すって言うんなら、ちゃんと聞いてあげてもいいんだよ。
She sounds almost hopeful. But as long as I have Saber with me, I can't agree to what she's asking.
答えは変わらない。俺はセイバーのマスターだ。お前がマスターを辞めないって言うんなら、バーサーカーを倒して辞めさせる。
I could both Ilya and Berserker and say that. In that instant, the air in the clearing tenses with a sharp snapping sound.
そう。なら、本気で殺してあげる。その思い上がりと一緒に、粉々に砕いてあげるわ、シロー。
What the fuck is that? There's some kind of inscription appearing on Ilya's face. No, it's not just her face. It's a huge command spell covering her entire body, and I can't even see it in the distance. It's so much more massive than the ones we have.
遊びは終わりよ。蹴散らしなさい、ヘラクレス。
Ellie's voice is completely lifeless, and in response, the giant behind her howls. What the hell is this? His roar shakes the earth. He screams and thrashes like his mom. Oh, it was what he said. What he said was unintelligible, so it said, okay. So it's like, ow, got it. He screams and thrashes like he's lost his mind. His abilities grow even more powerful, like his body is swelling with the deformed masses.
そんな理性を奪っていただけで凶暴化させていなかったというのか。
I'm not surprised. Saber is shuddering. Even I, who can't gauge the warrior's strength, can tell I shouldn't be going anywhere near that monster.
近寄る者はみんな殺しちゃえ。バーサーカー。
The air explodes. The giant bellows in a roar so different from its anguished wail, and leaps.
Saber!
A shriek of silver surges forward in answer. Berserker lands in the middle of a clearing. The earth shakes. Saber intercepts Berserkers of stopping a falling meteor. It's like watching a mythical battle unfold in front of me. In a forest shrouded by morning mist, two shadows clash relentlessly. And what you should do is you should take that bow and arrow we just made and shoot fucking Aaliyah. Berserker is simply overwhelming. Berserker swipes like whirlwinds. His downward strikes like waterfalls. Even Saber wouldn't survive a direct hit. But Saber deflects his every attack without faltering or hesitating. She swipes aside the barrage of strikes raining on her like a raging storm. That fail would mean being cut down on the spot. To Saber, each of these rapid blows seems to strike with her opponent's full might. The clash of swords echoes around the clearing. Berserker has greater reach. Berserker is faster. Berserker has more stamina. All Saber can do is parry the titanic surges of wind in Berserker's swings to mitigate the sheer force, all just to avoid being cut in half. Berserker is like a broken jackhammer. His blade spins in directions, annihilating everything in its path. Just getting in reach could only be fatal. There would be no hope of escape. They get caught in the whirling blade going around to dust. No normal human would have the chance against that. And if getting close can only mean death, then the only option is fleeing. But Saber steps into the whirlwind and doesn't retreat. She'll be shredded to pieces. The sword sparks off of her, slowly chipping away her armor. Standing in the middle of that vortex, she could be dead in a heartbeat. I can only hold my breath. In ancient times, heroes who fought dragons and demonic beasts must have all been like this, like her. They know perfectly well how vast the gap in strength between them is, but they bet everything in 1 in a million shot. A seething mass of violence beyond anything humans are capable of. They just defended until a single opportunity presented itself. Many warriors died without ever seeing the miracle they were waiting for. That's exactly what this battle is. It is a glamorous, eye-catching battle, but it only ends one way. With Saber's defeat, each blow chips away more at her. Berserker's roar shakes the ground. The sheer whirlwind of his frenzy churns up the atmosphere and sends Saber flying as she tries to defend. Every time Berserker attacks chip away at a bit of Saber's armor, she's thrown to the ground. But instead of remaining on her knees, Saber changes right back at Berserker position. Berserker every time. But she's at her limit. Saber's breathing is labored and her movements are visibly slowing. There won't be any opening. In a few moments, Berserker's titanic weapon will shatter Saber's sword. I ripped the bow I made. I'm going to... Why would you hesitate here? Provide the backup with my bow. The moment Saber goes flying, I fire at Berserker. This won't hurt him. It should at least get his attention. The arrow hits Berserker squarely in the temple, but it doesn't even leave a scratch. I can't even get his attention. The giant does not block the arrow. He doesn't even seem to care. Ilia's laugh echoes through the forest. I can't do anything. Saber's about to collapse right in front of me, but I can't do anything. Powerless. No matter what I do, I can't hurt Berserker, and I'm just distracting Saber. A slash. Saber sinks into the ground all the way to her ankles as she parries a massive blow. The parrying blade is swift but heavy. Her axe sword strikes down from overhead. The brutally powerful weapon grazes Saber's armor as she dodges, then tears up the earth itself. My jaw is clenched so hard my teeth could well shatter. Is there really nothing I can do? I can't protect Saber, I can't fight alongside her. There's nothing I can do. All I can do is...
ならば、せめてイメージしろ。お前にできることなど、所詮その程度でしかないのだから。
Archer said something like that.
外敵などいらぬ。お前にとって戦う相手とは、自身のイメージに他ならない。
Yeah. What was he saying again? It wasn't one of his typical snide remarks. What he said had weight and importance to it, and I needed to understand it. But again, probably everything he told me was a warning I shouldn't ignore. Saber goes flying. This time it's not because she leaped away to evade. Berserker hit her this time. The hurricane slash strikes Saber in the side. She stumbles. Coughing violently, she grips her weapon tighter and turns back towards Berserker. The giant doesn't miss the opening Saber finally provides her. My voice doesn't reach them. Training is useless and trying to use a bow like Archer would be pointless. You don't understand it yet? What can I do? What should these hands of mine be doing? That's right. What do I need to save Saber? I can't use a bow. A spear won't pierce him. Having a weapon just like the enemies is no solution either. To go up against that giant, a sword to cut through a mountain of stone. An opulent sword sharper than sharp, that will never dull. A king's sword able to cut down enemies in a single blow. Like that golden sword I saw in my dream. A sword fit for her. My head hurts. I try to fight down my nausea, but I never take my eyes off Saber. Strangely, the longer I watch Saber fall, the more indescribable pain assaults me. Saber and Berserker seem to be moving in slow motion. I see a row of switches line up. Saber coughs for a brief second and arches her pain. Arches in pain. Berserker smashes his axe sword down toward her with all his might. It's as if there's a row of nails in need of hammering down. It's like he's knocking down dominoes. The switch flips. Berserker's axe sword cuts Saber down. She's going to die. The strike splits Saber in half at the waist. Pieces of her flesh go flying. The only thing that's gone flying is pieces of armor. Berserker's only split Saber's armor. Saber left herself open to bait Berserker's into a single huge swing, and every ounce of strength she has, it rushes him. I wonder if Berserker is actually saying here, we just can't read it. A black roar rips through the air. He can't escape now. Saber's right in front of him. She sets her grip toward her sword and darts closer, then swings with all her might. I don't believe this. Saber's attack hits Homan, and the giant who had seemed so immovable flies back several meters. And then comes the truth attack. She must intend to release the attack from as close as possible. Tosaka jumps down from the branch above and throws her jewels at the Berserker as she falls. A shard of ice rain on Berserker. Shards of ice rain on Berserker. Among those shards are 3 giant spear-shaped icicles, each packed with enough magical energy to blow an entire mansion to smithereens. Ilia, quiet until now, suddenly screams at her servant. She must have sensed the danger, but too late. The ice spears aren't falling. They're accelerating towards Berserker. He can't possibly dodge. A 1 in a million opportunity. Saber's desperate attack perfectly coordinated with the ice bullet attacks, and it's more than enough magical energy to kill Berserker. However, the axe sword slices through the air. Even as Saber drives him back, he switches to a single-handed grip on his axe sword and shatters through all 3 ice spears. Blood splatters clean. Maybe it's one of his one-arm swing, but he fails to completely destroy the ice. And while it strikes, it severs one of Berserker's arms. That's not all. The ice freezes over Berserker's arm, completely restraining it. It only got one arm. Saber cries out. It's a reasonable response. Berserker catches Tosaka with his good arm and she falls. Tosaka's face twists in pain. Berserker will have no more crushing. Berserker will have no trouble crushing Tosaka with his hand. Run. I don't care if I drag them down. It doesn't matter if I can't do anything. I'm not gonna let Tosaka die. Saber must be too weak to even stand, but somehow she gets herself to her feet. Tosaka must be in agonizing pain, but she stretches a hand out as she hangs her head downward. And then... she grins wickedly. Everyone gasps. Saber, me, and even Berserker must have all frozen in our tracks. One person can only have so many tricks up their sleeve. She knew this might happen, and she hadn't even bothered to tell us. Berserker squeezes harder around her. He's a heartbeat. Too late. Four bullets of pure light streak towards Berserker. 4 bullets, 4 gems. 4 rapid shots at the most extreme close range. That has to be enough to end the Dark Mad Warrior. Or rather, the attack perfectly completely snuffs out his life. It must have blown Berserker's head clean off. The blood splattered even reaches me 10 meters from where Berserker stands. There's kind of a lot more blood in the mess, but I don't think she overdid it. Our opponent was a monster. Berserker would have been crushed. The Berserker would have crushed Tosaka if she hadn't blown his head off. I slow my frantic run. Tosaka is still in Berserker's grip, but the battle is over. Berserker's face is hidden in a plume of smoke. The singeing sound must have been a hell of an explode. I hear Tosaka's voice. Just run! Fuck it! Get out! Get out of here! She's looking at the smoke in disbelief. Hold on. Am I imagining things? Did Berserker's hand tighten around Tosaka? Tosaka's staring at the plume of smoke. It doesn't last long. The smoke starts to dissipate. And in the clearing, Berserker's face. The face that should have been blown off his body appears. Tosaka cowers Tosaka cowers under the evil demon's face at a loss for words. Laughter fills the air. Ilia, who remained at the far side of the clearing, laughs delightedly. So it did kill him. It just didn't matter.
はそれくらいじゃ消えないんだ。だってね、そいつは12回殺されなくちゃ死ねない体なんだから。
Well, he already died 6, so that was 7.
12回殺される。
She must have figured something out from what Ilya just told her. Tosaka looks aghast, her face twisting in regret.
そっか、神明が分かった時点で思い当たるべきだった。ヘラクレスって言ったらヒドラの弓なのに、持ってるのはただの岩だった。だからこいつの宝具は物じゃないんだ。英雄ヘラクレスのシンボルはそう、肉体そのものがヘラクレスの宝具なのよ。あなたも知っているでしょ、ヘラクレスの12の難行。
Oh, 12 labors, got it.
ギリシャの英雄ヘラクレスは己が罪を償うために12もの冒険を
I suppose that
乗り
makes
越
it
え
fair.
そのご褒美として不死になった。この意味あなたならわかるでしょ。命のストック、蘇生魔術の重ねがけ。ええ、だからそいつは簡単には死ねないの。かつて自分が乗り越えた分の試練は生き延びてしまう神々にかけられた不死の呪い。それが私のバーサーカーの宝具、ゴッドハンドなんだから。わかった？バーサーカーは今ので死んでしまったけど、
You shouldn't have told us how many lives he has
5
left.
つの命があるの。欲しかったわね、リー。今のが5倍の宝石だったらバーサーカーは消えていたのに。
I can't hear Ilya's voice clearly. From the corner of my eye, I see Saber charging Berserker.
リン、逃げて。
She can't run. Saber dashes over. Tosaka tries to pry open Berserker's fingers, but they won't budge. And then...
いいよ、バーサーカー。そいつ潰しちゃえ。
The burning eyes glare at Tosaka. Tosaka screams. Berserker's enormous fingers dig into Tosaka, trying to rip out her insides. There's only one outcome. Tosaka's lifeless body being crushed to nothing. I run. I forget who I'm up against, and I even forget where I am. My mind is completely burned out.
させるか。
Saber cuts towards Berserker. Her invisible sword swings at Berserker's defenseless arm as if slicing through a radish. But it's no use. Saber's attack pings harmlessly off Berserker's arm. His grip on Tosaka doesn't loosen. This movement must be agony for Saber. She swings her sword desperately, blood trickling from her mouth.
シロ。
She freezes the instant she sees me rushing at Berserker.
話しやがれ、てめえ。
I slap mindlessly at the back at his back with my bow. The giant is unfazed. He doesn't consider me a threat. My fingers are getting numb. The hell is he? I'm the one going numb from hitting him?
逃げて、シロ。
Huh? I look up and when I hear Saber. In that instant, I go flying through the air like a leaf. I hit the ground and tumble like a bit of stray garbage. Berserker smacked me away with a frozen sword. I try to block the attack with my bow, but it instantly shatters and I'm thrown so far away. I writhe in pain. The breaking sound hadn't come from the bow. One of my arms is bent the wrong angle. It's in the wrong spot. When I breathe in, my lungs hurt so bad I want to puke them up. I can't breathe properly with all this blood flowing through my mouth, but that doesn't matter. Breathing will just make me pass out. Better that I not breathe. I wake up. Right now I need to get to him. I run. It's my turn. I'm not going to break his arm. I'm going to break his arm to save Tosaka. He must have eyes in the back of his head. He swings his sword casually like he's batting aside a fly. I can dodge it. I won't let an arm that's completely frozen hit me so easily. Damn, my body's sinking. He must have grazed my leg. Damn him. He didn't even touch my leg, but he somehow managed to break it away anyway. I can't do that. I can't let Tosaka die. What do I need to do to save her? A weapon. A blade that would be best. At my feet, the broken pieces of the bow. Above me, Berserker's sword swinging right at me. There's no time to think. I let my magical energy flow through me. The strengthening succeeds easily, but it comes down to Berserker's sword. The fragments are finally pulverized. I meant to dodge, but instead my body slams to the ground. Clearly, there was no point in strengthening the broken shards. I'll have to do this from scratch. It shouldn't be impossible. Anyone can imitate as long as they have an example to follow. It just needs to duplicate the foundation, structure, work, experience, time, and... The giant turns around. I must have decided to kill the little nuisance before finishing Tosaka off. Push up from the ground and glare at the giant. There is no fear. I'm too burned out for fear. But behind me... I see someone prepared to disappear. I see someone determined to use the sacred sword. Don't use it. Wind peels back from the blade. The golden sword begins to revel itself in Saber's hand. I told her not to use it. Sword I told her not to use for no matter what. I snap. The last thread that had been holding me together finally gives. My left hand burns. A command spell stroke disappears. I don't care. The hell with that. All I know is that if she uses it, she'll disappear. You're already on your last legs from unleashing your sword. You can't use it right now. So just hold on. If you can't use your sword, I'll make you one you can use.
現実で叶わない相手なら想像の中で勝て。自身が勝てないのなら勝てるものを幻想しろ。
It's so obvious. It's the only thing I can do. I have to make it. I have to make something that won't lose. I have to imagine the strongest weapon. I have to imagine the ultimate imitation. It has to fool everyone, even me. It shouldn't be that hard. It's not something impossible. Since the beginning, my body has been a specialized magic circuit for this purpose alone. I leap up. My entire body burns like it's on fire. My left hand is crimson. Saber's voice rings with shocked disbelief. She's staring at the weapon in my hands, and the thing that shouldn't exist. The storm seems to have a will of its own. The golden blade moves as if being drawn out of the giant's arm. It flashes him, tearing through the arm. Tosaka falls to the ground along with the arm that has been holding her. The golden sword shatters as if it's been made of glass. My blood begins to flow backwards. It doesn't matter. The sword broke. It's impossible. If I imitated that sword, it shouldn't have shattered like that. It shattered because it wasn't sufficient. My image of the sword wasn't enough. Berserker's furious gaze turns on me. His massive sword swings up at me. This time it's determined to cut me in half. Doesn't matter. Berserker, you're not my enemy right now. I'm only fighting against one person right now. The last one wasn't perfect. My image of it was flawed. So the sword that should have been invincible broke. If I'm to duplicate things, I need to work on not just their shape, but also their maker. I hear the others holding their breath. In front of me, I see the axe swords rushing toward me like an oncoming storm, and a half-formed sword ready to block it. In desperation, I try to use the sword to block the incoming blade, but that doesn't matter to me. Right now, I need to finish this blade to make it real. Another mistake. You're not fit for fighting, Shido Emiya. Your battle is supposed to be a mental one, a fight against your own self. You don't have to remind me. What I need to do is simple. I concentrate. I'm challenging my own self. There can be neither deviation nor compromise. Determining creation ideology, anticipating base essence, duplicating material structure, replicating the forger's skill, resonating with the possessor's experience, imitating the uncountable years, and surpassing every manufactured process. Illusion shall bind the reality to forge a sword. The giant roars. My sword deflects the countless gusts assailing me from the enemy's furious attacks. But that's about it. I'm knocked away from him. The moment I come to, the sword leaves everything to me. The attacks I blocked so easily a moment ago now toss me around effortlessly. I can't feel my arms. The skin of my wrists is blistered and red. I'm surprised I could even keep my grip on the sword. My legs do not work. I only imagine every single muscle shredded to ribbons. I can't get up. I made a sword that surpasses Berserker, but that's all. I'm just the one who made it. I can't wield the sword I worked so hard to make. A shadow looms over me. He must know who he has to kill first now. I rush away, and Berserker rushes after me like a gust of wind. His enormous sword swings towards me, but it's deflected. In complete disbelief, I realize another hand is closing around my own. The air splits around me. The giant attacks with all his might, trying to destroy everything around him. But right before that happens, she's so close I could hear her voice over the din. A Berserker is a storm from coming to attack me. Saber is a gale rushing to my side. Saber sprints over to me and twists around, gripping me firmly. The rock sword shatters. The golden flash explodes through the giant's axe sword and continues ahead, slicing through Berserker's rock-like body without slowing. Maybe I copied the form so well that I copied some of its abilities too. The golden sword lodges deep in Berserker's body and glows so brilliantly that the light pours from the giant's body. And then in an instant, the light fades and the force falls silent. All the strength flees from my limbs. The heat that had been surging through me rapidly cools. The sword I made begins to disappear. I watch it vacantly. Saber and I remain together, holding the sword in our hands until it's disappeared completely. Wind sweeps through the clearing. The earth-shaking howl and the blade that had churned up the very air are gone. The previously invincible giant, now immobile, looks to a knight who's defeated him and speaks in a low, rumbling voice.
これはカリバーン。王を選定する岩の剣。永遠に失われた私の剣。ですが。
今のは貴様の剣ではなかろう。それはその男が作り上げた幻想に過ぎ。
Saber nods quietly.
所詮はまがいもの。二度とは存在せぬ剣だ。だが、しかし。
Berserker's chest opens up. He begins to dissolve. His body begins to crumble like a wet sand, beginning where the sword pierced him and rapidly expanding outward.
その幻想も侮れぬ。よもやただの一撃でこの身を7度滅ぼすとはな。
His dying words are spoken without emotion. The mad warrior keeps to his role until the very end, and fades away in dispersing haze in the misty morning air. Dizziness rocks me where I stand. This is probably the price of such excessive use of magecraft. The blood that rages through me is putting pressure on my brain, sending far too much oxygen to the rest of my body. My head feels like it gets split open. The enemy has disappeared, and whatever was numbing the pain earlier has faded. As if to pay the accumulated toll of this incredible battle, the dizziness and headache crash into me like twin meteors.
Shiro.
I'm about to collapse, but Saber supports me. Saber shouldn't have the energy for that either at this point.
いや、大丈夫だ。ところどころ骨が折れてるけど、命には別状はない。例の自然治癒も働いてるし、なんとかなる。
何を言うのです。あれだけの投影魔術を使ったのですから、今は休息を取らないと。
いや、けど。
There's someone I'd have to talk to first.
エリアスフィール。
Saber stands ready. Elias stares at where Berserker had been standing, her eyes hollow.
ちょうどいい。何のつもりかは知りませんが、追う手間が省けました。
ダメだ、セイバー。イリアには手を出さないでくれ。バーサーカーがいなくなったんなら、イリアは。
I slap Saber with the last remaining strength I have. Elia doesn't even seem to notice we're here. She just stares at the ground.
嘘。バーサーカー死んじゃったの。
She sounds like an abandoned child.
イリア。
Elia lifts her head absent-mindedly. It happened suddenly. Elia collapses like a puppet with its strings cut. I don't know what happened. I just stare at Elia where she lies. And at almost the same moment, Tosaka raises her head. She's freed now that Berserker's arms disappeared. I must have loosened up the moment I learned Tosaka was safe. My vision blurs and I can feel my body trying to pass out. I can't show that kind of weakness. It's not really weakness. We may have defeated Berserker, but we're still in the forest. Weary as we are, we have to force ourselves to get out of the forest. I look up at the sky as it begins to lighten. The town is a long way away, and all the allies are wounded, and every single inch of me hurts. And yet morning has come. We survived the night, was prepared not to, and defeated our greatest enemy. We leave the winter forest. Save the game? Yes! I would love to. Thank you. The sky was still a pale gray. Was it dawn or dusk? It's hard to tell. A vast sky overhead and a wide field stretching out on all sides. The sky seemed close enough to touch. Clouds low enough to grab hold of. This is one of the battlefields she fought on. There was no longer any cavalry in her service. The sprawling, golden meadow was gone, instead unfolding under the dull sky. It was a remnant of a battlefield. No emotion. She must have seen this kind of thing almost daily. Her desolate heart was empty. She leaned against the golden sword. She exhaled deeply and let her shoulders relax. The battle must have ended. After glancing over the bodies of the defeated soldiers, she returned to her camp. Those were the battles she experienced. Her cold, calm demeanor remained unchanged. No matter the predicament she's been in, she remained just like the woman I've always known. And then I see the dream of a king. I see the moment she drew her sword, she stopped being human. She took over for her father as a feudal lord and became a king with many knights. She was known as King Arthur in Altria. The life of the girl who once aspired to be a knight changed so radically. She acted like she was the king's son. The ruler of territories and knights had been a male. Only her father, the mage, knew the king was female. She covered herself in iron and hid the truth for the rest of her life. There were those who had their suspicions. The king of knights who wielded their sacred sword knew neither injury nor age. Excalibur was blessed with the protection of the fairies, making his protector and possessor immortal. As such, nobody questioned her tiny frame, which was much too small for a knight, or her face, which may have appeared girlish, instead she was hailed to be the truly beautiful king. And in fact, the king was invincible. Neither size nor appearance mattered. Those who lived in fear of the savage invaders desired a strong king, and the valiant knights would follow only a truly superior leader. The king satisfied each of these conditions, and so nobody questioned the king's identity. It did not matter if the king was a child or a woman. All that mattered is that the king protected the nation. The new king was fair and selfless, and always stood on the front line, fighting and defeating the nation's enemies on the battlefield. Many enemies and citizens died, but the king was always just, and she played her role as king better than anyone else. There was no room to suspect otherwise, and any such suspicions would be pointless while the king was right in any case. She knew no defeat on the battlefield. Her army reformed the lost cavalry, then charged across the battlefield, defeating foreign infantry and smashing through their defenses. Did she always stand on the front lines because her nation was behind her? Before she headed out to the battle, she had to cast aside so many citizens. When she was on the battlefield, she had to cut down all her enemies. As her battles were fought in defense of her nation, it was common to wring villages dry to support the family. In that sense, no knight killed as many as she did. I can tell if she ever really felt that burden. I can't tell if she ever really felt that burden. It's not something I can really know from a dream, but I do know she didn't have a moment's doubt or hesitation on the battlefield. Grief never touched her thoughts when she was sat on the throne. A king is not human. Human emotions would make it impossible to protect people. She kept to her oath, never wavering. She addressed the issues facing her nation, and she worked on matters of political concern. She ruled without warning, and she ruled without wavering, and she punished the deserving without error. And after winning so many battles, unifying so many clans, and punishing hundreds of criminals, King Arthur doesn't have a human heart. One of the knights in her entourage murmured this. Everyone must have felt the same way. The more perfectly she carried herself as a king, the more everyone questioned their monarch. There's no way someone devoid of human emotion can rule humans. Several reputable knights left the White Castle of Camelot, but the king accepted this as inevitable and incorporated it into her rule. And so the fair king, once admired by her knights, began to isolate herself. Such trivialities were of no concern to a king. Even if she was deserted, feared, and betrayed, her heart would remain unchanged. It couldn't be helped. The moment she took the sword, she abandoned her emotions. And then her final battle began. The Battle of Baden Hill ended in complete victory, and an inescapable conclusion led to the savage clans finally offering peace. And so the nation had been holding its breath, waiting to be destroyed through a moment of peace. The age of warfare, where a nation leaned on a singular hero, came to an end. Britain was finally going to become the nation she'd always dreamed of. The scene starts to fade away. I realize the dream is ending and I'm about to wake up. I can feel myself drifting closer to wakefulness. Before that happened, something really pissed me off. She's stupid. Oh, she's strong and a gifted fighter. But there's a difference between being good at fighting and being cut out for it. The people around her pissed me off too. If she didn't notice it, someone else around her should have told her, or she would have gone on making the same mistake forever. Seriously, how the hell did she have so many people around her and no one told her the truth? I wake up. We escaped Ilia's forest and returned home yesterday afternoon. Misako went back to her room complaining her stomach hurt, and my headache wasn't getting any better, so we all decided to just go to sleep. It must have been the extra weight I was lugging around. As soon as I got to bed, I couldn't get back up. Saber was the only one who seemed fine, and Tosaka and I left her to guard the house while we slept. And then... I'm relieved. The whole thing with Berserker, the headache I got after copying Saber's sword was unreal. If I had kept it up, my head might as well have split down the middle. Then I noticed Saber is sitting on the floor, right next to my head.
Saber... なんだよ。朝から辛気臭い顔して。俺が眠ってる間に何かあったのか？
いいえ。ただ、夢を見てしまったもので。いえ、何でもありません。それより朝食にしましょう、シロ。もう起きる時間です。
Saber gets up and heads silently out of my room. What was that about? I don't know why Saber's acting strange. I'm really not sure, but...
枕元に正座してたってことは、看病しててくれたのかな?
The moment I have that thought, the scene from last night comes back to me.
何考えてんだ?
I shake my head to rid myself of those impure thoughts. That night, my contract with Saber was entirely about my duty as a master. If I don't rationalize it like that, I'll never be able to look at Saber again.
平常心。昨日帰ってくる時はいつも通りだったじゃないか。それでいいんだ。それで。
No, I was actually just tired yesterday, but I still need to act normal. Besides, Saber wouldn't like me acting like this.
よし。とにかく落ち着いて朝飯作らないと。
Can you? I take a deep breath and get changed. It's 9 in the morning. Saber hasn't eaten since lunch yesterday, so she might be hungry. Nine is so late, it's practically not even morning anymore. Bro, you have you have so many hours until morning is over.
シロ、今朝は私とあなただけですが、リンを起こさなくていいのですか？
ああ、みんなまだ寝てるんだろ？昨日が昨日だし。
Yeah, so we took Ilia with us.
飯は作っておけば勝手に食べるだろうし。
そうですか。それでは早めに支度をしてもらえると助かります。もうこんな時間になってしまいましたから。
So I assume he's fine because he just said his fucking arm was broken in the last scene.
食べ終わったら道場に行こ
う。道場に行くとは、まだ私と剣の鍛錬を続けるのですか？
なんで？日課じゃないか、あれ。どうしたセイバー？なんか変なこと言ったか、俺。
あ、いえ。もう鍛錬はしないのだろうと勝手に思い込んでいました。バーサーカーが倒れた今、シローがそこまで必死になる理由はなくなったのではないかと。
Probably better to be on the safe side.
言われてみればそうかもしれない。
The common enemy we all share in Berserker is gone now. We teamed up to take on the enemy far stronger than us, and that is also why I trained so furiously in such a short period of time.
でも鍛錬は続けるぞ。俺はまだ半人前だし、セイバーは剣を持つと本音を出すからな。その方が俺も話してて楽だ。
Well, I say easy, but what I mean is I kind of enjoy it.
はあ、道場での私は本音を出しているのでしょうか。
出してるよ。少なくとも気兼ねはしてないだろう。俺もその方が楽だし、セイバーも肩の力が抜けていいんじゃないか。ともかく午前中はセイバーと剣を合わせるのが日課なんだ。数少ない俺の楽しみを取らないでくれ。
I take the ground beef and pork, green onions, mushrooms, onions, and eggs out of the refrigerator and head to the kitchen. Onions and green onions are different. I need the panko, sake, and cooking oil.
はあ、そういうことでしたら。
You certainly look bad, though.
はありませんが。
Saber mutts quietly to herself in the living room while I work. Can't quite hear what she's saying from the kitchen.
I mix onions, panko, sake, egg salt, and 400 grams of ground beef and pork and knead it all together. I decided to be bold today, so I'm making stewed Japanese hamburger steak for breakfast. That is kind of a lot.
リン、目が覚めたのですか?
Saber's voice drifts out in front of the living room.
父さか?
I glance back over my shoulder as I cook.
おはよう。ごめん、牛乳飲ませて、シロ。
Milk? Tosaka comes in looking grumpy and grabs a carton of milk from the fridge.
寝すぎて頭痛い。って、あれ？何？朝から凝ってるじゃない。
With that grumpy face she'd been making a second ago. Her eyes are practically sparkling now.
へえ、美味しそう。ちょうどお腹も減ってたし、助かったわ。
Is that so? Well, she's the one who gets to enjoy herself here, not me. Reminds me of when my old man used to say someone gains, someone else loses.
前から思ってたんだが、お前割と目ざといよな。
あら、人並みに目端が利くだけよ。それじゃあ、私の分もよろしくね。
She waves as her heads back to the living room. The glass of milk in one hand, Tosaka plops down at the table. Seriously, I don't know where she gets off acting like she's the king of the castle in my house.
だらけていますね、リン。
Yeah, way to go, Saber. She's saying everything I wish I could. However, Tosaka dismisses Saber's criticism nonchalantly by agreeing with her.
そりゃだらけもするわよ。バーサーカーがいなくなった今、あとはキャスターとランサーとアサシンでしょ。バーサーカーに比べたら大した敵じゃないし、今のセーバーなら余裕で撃退できるじゃない。
それはわかりません。ランサーもアサシンも一筋縄で行く相手ではない。キャスターに至ってはまだ出会ってもいないではないですか。
謙遜謙遜。アーサー王の手にかかっちゃそんじょそこらの英霊なんて10羽一からげでしょ。今までは魔力不足で嘆いてたけど、それも解決したし、今のセイバーに対抗できるサーバントなんて一人もいないわ。
Saber narrows her eyes at Tosaka. I have the same reaction. We shouldn't let what Tosaka said there just go by.
父さか。お前、セイバーが誰かって気づいてたのか。
She heard the word caliber and it probably wasn't that hard to figure out.
確信が持てたのは昨日よ。あれだけの政権を扱える英雄なんて一人しかいないもの。まあ、伝説のアーサー王が女の子っていうのには驚いたけど、目の前にいるんじゃ信じるしかないじゃない。
Probably shouldn't also say that nonchalantly like that, but
伝説なんて都合よく改ざんされたものでしょ。セイバーが隠したのか周囲が隠したのか知らないけど、確かに中世の王様が女の子ってのは都合が悪いものね。そりゃ誰が何と言おうと男として扱うわよ。
Tosaka's tone remains the same. Saber at least doesn't seem to mind. If anything, she seems to agree with Tosaka. She certainly doesn't seem to argue.
She basically acknowledged the fact. A hero with connection to the sword is selected to be the Saber servant. Based on that alone, she would absolutely make the best for the best Saber. The heroic symbol of Britain. The wielder of the sacred sword, so famous she's even known in this faraway land. But then, what of it? The legend of King Arthur ends with the king's death. Even heroes are still human. Their stories usually end in death, but no hero dies a proper death. King Arthur was no exception. If I remember correctly, King Arthur died in battle. At the Great Battle of Camlan, after unifying Britain and supposedly having no foreign enemies to defeat, King Arthur was drawn into conflict with an unexpected enemy at the end. His right hand, right? It was Lancelot. With the structure of his own army, the knights who she vowed to protect and fought alongside for so long led to Arthur's death. King Arthur defeated the enemy leaders, but took a fatal wound in battle, and so entrusted her only surviving knight, Bedivere, with the task of returning the sacred sword where it belonged. Travel across this bloody battlefield all over the hill. They'll find a deep lake, throw the sword into that lake. But Bedivere did not fulfill that final duty. To read the implications of losing the sword, Bedivere falsely reported not once but twice that it had been thrown into the lake. Each time, King Arthur once more ordered Bedivere to throw away the sword, but finally, the third time, Bedivere was able to fulfill the king's wishes. It is said that King Arthur died after making certain that the sword had been returned.
それよりシロ、あんたこれからどうする気よ?
I plan to make breakfast and eat it. Tosaka suddenly turns to glare at me.
どうするって何をだよ。
だから和室で寝てる物騒な子供のことよ。放っておけって言ったのに、ここまで連れてきたのはあんたじゃない。
She's still a little girl.
それについては私も言いたい。バーサーカーを失ったとはいえ、イリアスフィールは危険なマスターだ。それを保護するなど、シロはどうかしています。
そうそう。あんなのは綺麗に預けちまえばいいのよ。
Two girls glare at Ilya as one. That's right. The moment Berserker disappeared, Ilya fainted. She showed no sign of waking up, and I couldn't just leave her, so I brought her back home. Of course, Tosaka and Saber objected, so I carried her myself. A master who loses their servant either flees before another master kills them, or is protected by the church. Tosaka says we should have let Kodamine take care of her, but I don't think that priest would take very good care of Ilya, so I'm having her stay in one of our spare rooms.
シロ、あなたの考えは立派ですが、イリアスフィールに関わるのは危険です。今ならまだ間に合う。早々に教会に預けるか。
We should do that. We should at least take the command spells. Saber's serious. Changing her mind won't be easy.
なんだよ。だってほっとくわけにはいかないだろう。イリアはまだ子供なんだし、様子もおかしかった。コトミネに預けるのはなんかかわいそうだし。
かわいそう？あんたね、あの子にあんな目に遭わされて、まだそんな寝ぼけたこと言うわけ。
She's a kid. She literally does not know better.
同感です。シロはイリアスフィールに感情移入しすぎています。
She's a kid.
彼女は何度もシロを殺そうとしたではないですか。
She's like what, 7? The two of them are more united than ever. But I need to stand my ground.
確かにイリアは敵だった。けど、あいつに邪気はなかった。ちゃんと言いつけてやる奴がいれば、イリアはもうあんなことはしない。それに、一番初めに言ったはずだ。俺はマスターを殺すために戦うんじゃない。戦いを終わらせるために戦うだけだって。
それは分かってはいますが。
Saber's tone softens, though she's clearly not convinced. But
そう。それじゃあイリアスフィールのしたことを全部許すっていうの？言っとくけど、あの子は私たち以外のマスターも襲っている。もしかしたらもう何人かマスターを殺しているかもしれない。
Yeah, she did kill Shinji.
それでもあなたは助けてやるっていうのね。
それは。
Yeah. Ellie admitted she killed Shinji after I let him go. Shinji used Ryder to try to kill everyone at school. If that's what he did as a master, I suppose his death was inevitable. But Shinji was a friend of mine for years. No, he wasn't. And thinking of Sakura, I just can't write that off right off what Ilya did.
けど、それじゃ終わりがないだろ。イリアがマスターで亡くなって、自分のしたことを悔やめるようになるのなら、俺は助けるべきだと思う。
I agree.
そうね。それは正しい。
She has the option to choose to be a better person than what she was. It sucks that this is about death, but as far as killing people goes, Shinji was the biggest shithead there ever was, and he chose to continue being a shithead, so he died for it. If we kill her or we do something with her, she will never get the choice to stop to not be that way. Especially since she's so young. She was just told, "Hey, do this thing." Yeah, no, I agree with this.
けどシロ、私はアーチャーのことを帳消しにする気はないの。私のアーチャーはあいつに殺されたんだから。
No one's asking you to. We're at an impasse here. We all freeze staring at each other. But then the girl in question walks in.
何よ。サーバントなんて最後にはみんな消えちゃうじゃない。そんなこと気にしてるなんて。マスター失格ね、リン。
The very girl under discussion appears.
イリアスフィール。
待ちなさい。あなたたちに用はないわ。戦う気もないからそんなに生きり立たないでくれない？ほんと同じレディーとして恥ずかしいわ。私よりずっと年上なのにたしなみってものがないんだから。
Ellie shrugs, looking disgusted.
なんですって？
Got him. Saber and Tosaka are once again in sync. A whole new kind of intensity comes over them.
まあそれも怒らないであげる。今はあなたたちに構ってる場合じゃないもの。
Elia turns from them to face me.
エリア。
礼を言います、セイバーのマスター。敵であった我が身まで気遣うその心遣い、心より感謝いたしますわ。
This is a little unexpected, but I stare at Ilya in disbelief. She is technically proper royalty or whatnot. So sudden is this that even Saber goes quiet. Sokka just keeps drinking her milk, giving Ilya the stink eye. And then, Ilya smiles that familiar smile of hers.
なんてね。やっぱりシロはお兄ちゃんだ。
That was a weird way to... She launches herself right at me and hugs me around the neck. That was a weird way to translate that. I'm pretty positive what she said is that, yep, you sure are Shiro, and then added the honorific for Mr. or older person, as opposed to just saying you sure are my brother, which is a weird way to... This is a weird localization in that case. Kosaka spits out her mouth. I can almost hear the vein popping in Saber's forehead.
離れなさい、この無礼者。
Saber rushes toward me. Elliot twists around, swinging to my back.
無礼者はどっちよ。サーバントのくせに私に意見しようなんて100年早いわ。
あなたに従う義務もなければ意思もありません。減らず口を言う暇があるなら今すぐ城から離れなさい。
そんなの聞かないよーだ。ねえシロ、昨日みたいにしよう。あれ本部って言うんだよね。
She was awake. Elliot spins around me. Saber hurries after her, trying to catch her.
is bad. What specifically is bad? Well, it's just bad. Those two can't stop glaring at each other. It must be because Tosaka is just watching from afar, but she just wipes the milk off her mouth as if nothing happened and says,
どうでもいいんだけどね、二人とも。そのままだとそいつ死ぬわよ。
The two of them peer curiously at me. It's pretty clear. My neck is getting wrenched around, and now my face is greatest danger of my life. And now I face the greatest danger of my life. Okay, let's review the current situation. The hamburger steak I've been working so hard on is packed away in the freezer. Okay. First, there's Tosaka. She's being relatively quiet. She seems to be keeping a straight face and looks like she's just going to watch things play out, but who can say what she might be thinking to herself? Ailey is sitting next to me, and for some reason she looks like she's in a good mood. She looks curiously around the living room, but it doesn't look like Saber's or Tosaka are much concerned to her. Whatever either of them might say is likely to go in one ear and out the other. And then there's one thing I'm most concerned about. Saber. She's glaring anxiously at both me and Ilya. She's not usually so fidgety and restless. It's like I'm resting on a bed of nails. So I can't leave things as they are. I don't know what's going to come of this, but I have to do something about the situation.
いつまでもこうしてちゃ昼になっちまう。
そうね。結論は決まっているし、問題は早めに片付けた方がいいわ。そうでしょ、セイバー。
そうですね。私とリンの意見は同じですから。あとはシローに納得してもらうだけですが。
Saber's really digging her heels in.
ねえシロー、リンとセイバーは何を話したがってるの？
いや、そのイリアをどうするかっていう話なんだが、イリアはサーバントを亡くしただろ。だからこの後どうしたものかなって。
そんなの決まってるでしょ。教会に保護させるか、森の城に追い返すのよ。どちらにしたってここに
Yeah, you're gonna tell me what to do with my house. Crazy.
シローもそう思ってるの
Ilya looks at me and her face is emotionless. I'm fucking kicking this child out. Listen. In an actual real life situation, keeping her is fucking weird. However, think about it like this. Taking her to the church. Well, she's just going to be as unhappy as she was before. She's probably going to be in more danger here, but think about all the stuff. She's also an accomplished mage too, so we could probably learn something from her. Plus, she's like 7. I think no matter what happens here, she should probably be with people she feels familiar with. Even if 2 of those people are enemies. Kiritsugo always told me to protect girls, and I don't like seeing kids suffer.
いや、俺はイリアはここにいるべきだと思う。聖杯戦争は終わってないんだ。残りのマスターと決着がつくまで、イリアはうちでかくまいたい。
シローがそう言うんなら、私もここにいてあげるね。
イリア、苦しいって。
I intend to pry Ilya from me, but before I get the chance, Saber steps over and does it for me.
何よ、さっきから邪魔ばっかりして。あなた、私に恨みでもあるの？
当然でしょう。その身がシローに何をしたか、私は忘れることなどない。シローもシローです。イリアスフィールをかくまうなど、
Nothing bad's gonna come from sheltering her either, so we're fine.
なんでだよ。イリアにはもうサーバントはいないんだから、危険ってことはないだろう。マスターじゃなくなったんだから。それより下手に放り出して襲われたらどうするんだ。 イリアの命だって危ないし、他のマスターに力をつけさせることになるぞ。
それはそうですが、しかし。
Saber hesitates. No matter what she says, Saber understands that another master might attack Ilya if we leave her alone.
じゃあ次はこっちの番ね。
はい。
セーバーを陥落したところ悪いけど、私はまだ説得されてないわ。いいシロ。そいつはまだマスターなのよ。サーバントを失っても、霊樹がある限り、マスターはマスターだって教えたでしょ？
She says that. Tosaka just butts in with the sips, butts in and slips her tea. Slips? Sips.
おい、それどういう意味だよ、遠坂。
だから、霊樹さえ残っていれば、サーバントとは何人でも契約できるのよ。主のいないはぐれサーバントがいて、かつマスターにそのはぐれサーバントを許容できるキャパシティさえあれば、何人とだって契約はできるわ。
She probably still wants Berserker.
なんだよそれ。じゃあ優れたマスターなら何人でもサーバントと契約できるってことか。
何人でもってわけじゃないわ。聖杯の力で呼び出せる英霊は7人が限度だから、最大でも7人ね。もっともどんなに優れた魔術師だって複数のサーバントを具現化させる魔力なんてないわ。あるとしても、その場合は10の魔力を5に分けて2人のサーバントを刺激することになる。そうなるとサーバントの能力は下がるから、複数のサーバントと契約する旨味はないけどね。
See, just ask her to get rid of her command spells. So if I formed a contract with Saber and Berserker, they would have to split my magical energy between the two to maintain their existence, which would justly weaken both of them. That would mean it would be more keeps sense to keep one servant and supply them with magical energy.
そういえば前に言ってたっけ、サーバントってマスターを変えられるって。あれってこのことだったんだな。
あら、珍しく勘がいいじゃない。シローの言う通り、サーバントがマスターを変えるっていうのはそういうことよ。マスターを失ったサーバントは消えるまでいくらか猶予がある。で、その間に他にサーバントを欲しがっているマスターを探して契約すれば元通りってわけ。
ええ、だからリンに気を許しちゃダメよ、シロー。そいつだってまだマスターなんだから。シローを殺してセイバーを奪うかもしれないし、まだ生きてるサーバントと再契約するかもしれないわ。
そう、それはあんたにそっくりお返しするわ、イリア。
そんなことないもん。私他のサーバントとなんて組まない。イリアのサーバントは
Yeah.
ずっとバーサーカーだけなんだから。
I don't know what kind of relationship Ilya and Berserker had, but I do know that Server was special to her. It is a surprise, but at the same time it makes me happy. I'm happy to know that despite the fact that as a master, Ilya was relentless and she still cherished her partner.
あ、でもシローが負けちゃったらセイバーは私がもらうわ。私はシロー以外のマスターが勝つのは認めない。でももしシローが負けちゃったら私が代わりに勝ってあげるんだから。
Ilya says that proudly, just as she was starting to impress Saber and Tosaka.
バカなことは言わないでほしい。私はシローのサーバントです。あなたのサーバントになるつもりはありません。
へえ、別にそれでも構わないわ。私はシローに勝ってもらえればそれでいい。私が勝つのもセイバーがシローを守ってくれるのもどうせ最後は同じだもの。
Hmm? What a weird thing to say. Is it really that weird? She never gave a fuck about this to begin with. If she wants me to win, why would she think like that anyway? And then Tosaka must have found it strange too. She starts to think.
私は構います。ともかく私は認めません。リン、あなたからもシローに忠告してください。
ごめんなさい、聞いてなかったわ。もう一度言って、セイバー。
ですからイリアスフィールをここにかくまうのは反対だということです。
ああ、それいいんじゃない？別にかくまうぐらいなら。
は？
What changed her mind? Saber freezes. I had advocated for this, and even I'm surprised. I don't blame the opposing Saber for being frozen in shock.
リン、あなた正気ですか？
ええ、冷静に考えてみればリスクはどっちも同じなのよ。イリアを一人にするのもここでかくまうのも教会に預けるのも変わらない。いえ、むしろイリア目当てでマスターが来てくれた方が助かるわ。今のセーバーなら他のサーバントが束になっても負けっこない。聖杯戦争を終わらせるならその方が手っ取り早いし、それはあなただって望むところでしょ、セイバー。ま、あなたが他のサーバントに負けるって言うんなら話は変わるけど。
まさか今の私がどのような状態かリンなら分かっているでしょう。シローが私のマスターである限り私に敗北などありえません。
でしょ？ならイリアをかくまうのも問題ない。それに気になることもある。シローの選択はもしかしたらとんでもない妙手だったのかもしれないわ。
Berserker goes quiet. She must have convinced Saber, who reluctantly takes a step back from Ilya. We finish breakfast and then move to the dojo. Chisaka goes back to her own room while Saber follows me. As for Ilya, I assume she's just watching.
本当に剣の鍛錬なんかするの？
She follows me to the dojo while we're joined at the hip. Sorry, ready, stepped out. Alright.
私、今日はシロと遊べると思って楽しみにしてたんだよ。なのにセイバーなんて邪魔者はいるし、ここ寒いし、つまんないよ。
Well, I'm not surprised Ilya thinks this is boring. Watching someone train isn't exactly what I'd call exciting.
ねえ、今に戻ろう。強くなりたいなら、私がシロの力になってあげる。
What exactly are you saying you're gonna do? Ilya takes one of my hands in both hers and tries to tuck me away from the dojo. But at least in this, I can't indulge Ilya.
いや、ダメだ、イリア。剣の鍛錬は日課だからきちんとこなす。俺は魔術師として未熟なんだから少しぐらいは戦えるようになっていないと。それに鍛えておけばイリアを守れるだろ。イリアをうちにかくまうって決めたのは俺なんだから、これぐらいはしないと締まらない。
うん、それはそうかも。けど私、シロに守られなくてもいいんだけどな。シロはお兄ちゃんなんだから一緒にいてくれるだけでいいんだもん。
Seems I failed to convince her. Ellie tugs more aggressively at my hand. Saber watches silently all the while. Her eyes burn into the pair of us. She must still not approve of Ellie being here and is more than a little cold to her. And then our eyes meet. Good timing. I'll ask Saber's opinion.
だからダメだって。セイバー、お前からも言ってくれ。午前中にセイバーと鍛錬をするのは日課なんだって。
私に言うべきことなどありません。イリアスフィールを連れてきたのはシローです。彼女に言い聞かせるのはシローの役割で、私の責務には含まれていませんから。
So she's gonna be petty. I don't know why, but I guess she's really ticked off now.
なんだ、 わかってるじゃない。
Oh, that would have made me
剣の
mad.
鍛錬なんてしなくていいのよ。残ってるのは雑魚ばっかりなんだから、そんなの必要ないもの。ねえシロ、他のマスターなんてセイバーに任せて、私たちは外で遊ぼう。
I lose my balance and feel myself being tucked toward the dojo's exit.
ダメだ、話せイリア。こればっかりはわがまま言っても聞かないぞ。剣の鍛錬は休まないし、これからもずっと続ける。そりゃイリアにはつまらないだろうけど、俺はこれが好きなんだ。文句があるなら今の方で休んでいてくれ。
Shake her off violently. She's obviously didn't expect me to fling her away like that. Leah backs off surprised and looks at me nervously. Yeah, boy. I should have been nicer about it.
すまんイリア、今のは乱暴すぎた。けど剣の鍛錬はやめられない。しばらく一人にして悪いんだが、今でおとなしくしていてくれるか。
Leah sulks toward the entrance, but stops by the wall. Hmm?
いいわ。ならここで見てる。それなら文句ないんでしょ。
Leah sudden roars in defiance. She clears our way, pitching a small tantrum.
いや、それは構わないけど、ここ寒いぞ。今だったらお茶もあるし、お茶受けも完備してるんだが。
I'll just bring them here.
私がいいって言ってるんだからいいの。なんだ、シロとセイバーを二人きりになんてさせないんだから。
Why? Leah huffs and turns her nose up.
まあいいけど。飽きたら今に戻ってても構わないから。
As things have settled down, I take the two shinai leaning against the wall and turn to face Saber.
じゃあ始めよう。3日ぶりだからどうも勘が鈍ってそうだけどな。セイバー、どうした？ぼーっとしちまって。熱でもあるのか？
いえ、別にそういうことではないのですが。
Saber turns away from Ilya, furiously shaking her head.
体は万全なんだな。なら始めるぞ。ほら、しない。
いえ、投げていただければ結構です。あまり不用意に近づかれては困ります。私たちは剣の鍛錬をするのですから。
Are you good?
だからそうだって。何言ってんだ、セイバー。
I'm a little confused. I toss the shinai to her. Besides, I've never once landed a strike on Saber. I've never even gotten close to being within striking range of her, so Saber's telling me not to come close seems odd. Saber takes the shinai, I toss her a bit awkwardly, and then lets out an audible sigh.
それでは始めましょう。今までとは勝手が違いますが、平静を保つようにしろ。
Saber glances at Ilya as she speaks.
大丈夫だ。誰が見ていようと始まれば気にならない。
I grip my shinai and focus on Saber. She stands in front of me, shinai in hand. Now my attention is fixed only on her. We spend 2 hours trading and then go on break as usual.
改めて実感した。やっぱりセイバーはすごい。
I nod approvingly and gulp down some water from the kettle I brought along. I quench my thirst and wipe the sweat from my neck with a towel, which helps me finally relax.
ねえ、今のが鍛錬なの？なんかシロが一方的にやられてたようにしか見えなかったけど。
Ellie is so blunt about things most people will find awkward. She's a child.
それは違う、イリア。今でこそやられっぱなしだけど、以前はもっとひどかったんだ。むしろ一度も気絶しなかったあたり、今日は上出来だったと言っていい。
そうなんだ。けどそれってシロの腕前なのかな。セイバー、シロが何度もバランス崩してたのにわざと見逃してたような気がするんだけど。
Ellie's expression turns thoughtful. She's sharp. I found it odd too, actually. Either Saber was holding back out of concern for me, or she isn't in top form. Whatever the case, Saber didn't go all out. Well, she may not always fight seriously when we're training, but she always been merciless about exploiting openings before. Today she lacks drive, though. Normally she just rushes in and attacks hard enough to knock me out, but there wasn't any of that today.
イリアもそう思うのか。やっぱりセイバーに見逃されてたのかな、俺。
不思議とそんな感じはしなかったよ。セイバー、ちゃんとシロに追い打ちしようって竹刀を構え直すんだけど、とっさにやめて下がっちゃうのよ。あれ、何だったのかな。見逃してるっていうより、怖がってるっていうか、遠慮してるっていうか。
はあ？まさかセイバーが遠慮なんかするもんか。そんな情けがあったら俺は初日であそこまで痛めつけられなかったぞ。
Yeah, Saber isn't the sort to hold back in training. Things change over time. That's why I was able to focus it completely on her weapon.
一体どうしたんだよ、セイバー。こんなんじゃ鍛錬にならない。まさかとは思うけど、手を抜いてたんじゃないだろうな。
いえ、手を抜いていたなどということはありません。私は普段通りシロより一段階上の剣士を想定して相手をしていたのですが。
Something's not right. Saber has to see it too.
ああ、そりゃセイバーが手を抜くなんて思えないし、真剣にやってくれてたのも分かってる。けど今のは消極的すぎなかったか。もっとこうガツンと正面から打ち合ってくれないとためにならないってば。
正面からですか。ですがそうなるとマスターに近づきすぎです。それでは展開によっては体がぶつかってしまうというか。
I mean, I figured that was the case, but...
そりゃ打ち合ってるんだから肩ぐらいぶつかるだろう。そもそもセイバー、密着戦になったら甘いとばかりに体当たりしてきて、よく俺を吹っ飛ばしてたじゃないか。密着戦はセイバーの得意とするところじゃないのか。
私そんなことをしていたのでしょうか。
していたのかって、まあ割と頻繁に。ほら、初めて竹刀を合わせた時も派手に壁まで叩きつけてくれただろ。女の子なのに力持ちだなって言ったら、剣士としてこの程度は当然だってセイバーは言ったじゃないか。
Did Ilya figure out what's going on? Saber stands there dumbfounded. What's going on? Saber's acting really weird today. I hate to learn that she isn't feeling well. I should actually just talk about it later. We get back to our training, but it's still different than before. But after just a few strikes, Saber sets down her shinai. Is this a new kind of training? She might strike me straight in the head like at the moment I drop my guard and get close. I breathe hard, watching Saber cautiously. Saber narrows her eyes, shooting that she's serious now and steps forward.
シロ、昼食にしましょう。
That's not like her.
は？
I lower my shinai.
昼食にするって もうそんな時間か?
According to the clock, it's a bit before noon. It's lunchtime for sure, but this is the first time Saber has been one step up to his suggestion. Neither Saber nor I paid much attention to the time when we trained before. We take a break and then notice we were hungry, and then we check the clock and see that it was about lunchtime. It's a good idea. I could go along with it easily enough. Fine, but why are you on the dot today?
そうだな。イリアもいることだし、今日は早めに飯にしようか。
Oh, right. It took off auto. I agree to Saber's suggestion, and I lower my shinai. And then... Saber's shoulders sag in relief. What's really going on? She's acting so weird. Maybe I should at least ask why.
よかった。それでは今に向かいましょう。
よかった?
シローの作ってくれる食事は美味しいのですが、準備に時間がかかってしまいますから。
昼飯を作る時間がもったいないのか? ああ、それなら毎日弁当にすればよかった。そっちのが手間がかからなくて楽だし、いちいち台所に戻る必要もないしな。
I'll put all that work into lunch as a way of thinking here, but if Saber doesn't like me spending so much time on that, so be it.
シロー、何をしているのです。早く今に向かいましょう。
い
や、だから昼飯だろ?
I'll lean my shinai against the wall and set 3 cushions on the floor.
ええ、昼食です。一息入れるのはその後なのですから、早く厨房に立ってもらわなければ困ります。
What is going on?
なんでさ、今に戻ることはないし、急ぐ必要もないだろう。ところで、困るって何が?
あ。
Saber stops so suddenly, I can practically hear her gears grinding.
それに、どうして今日に限って時間ぴったりなんだ? なんか急ぐ理由でもあるのか?
いえ、別に急いでいるというわけではないのですが。
急いでないならゆっくりでいいじゃないか。時間は十分にあるし。
いえ、それはそうなのですが。いいですから今に行きましょう。昼食を取らなければ午後の鍛錬に支障をきたします。
だからその準備をしてるんだって。暇なら今に行って朝作っておいた弁当を持ってきてくれ。
お弁当ですか?
I noticed as I opened the windows to let in the cool air. And then our stomachs were all signaling that we're both hungry.
ああ、そうか。いつもはどっちかの腹の虫で時間を確かめてたんだっけ。道理でおかしいと思った。
Turn to Saber.
どうしたんだ、セイバー。窓開けたら寒いか?
Was she just embarrassed to have her stomach growl? We should at least ventilate the room since we're eating here, though.
いえ、何でもありません。今に昼食が用意してあるのですね。
She really wants to fucking leave. Saber dashes out of the dojo. Saber's half-hearted hits the way she acted now. Maybe she does have a fever. This noon and we eat lunch. I made a hearty breakfast, so lunch is boxed leftovers.
これは、なるほど。朝の料理をパンに挟んだのですね。
Saber nods approvingly and she eats her sandwich.
I wish she uses a proper napkin to keep. He wish she uses a proper napkin to use for her hands getting dirty. There's such grace even as she eats the bento.
朝も思ったけど、シロはお料理上手よね。私ね、ご飯が美味しいのはいいことだと思うの。
On the other hand of the spectrum, Ilya eagerly crams her sandwich into her mouth. Allow her. I can tell she's just playing around or copying me. I can't tell if she's just playing around or copying me. Ilya seems to have better manners than Saber, except at the table.
待ちなさい、イリアスフィール。それでは髪が汚れてしまいます。
Huh. Ilya must have had butter spit on the corner of her mouth or something. Saber leans in reluctantly, wiping off whatever it was.
ありがとう。けど、どういうつもり？セイバーは私のこと嫌いなんでしょ？
ええ。今でも警戒はしています。ですが私とて人の心はわかる。あなたには敵意がなく、シローは客人として迎えました。ですから私も最低限の礼は尽くしますし、それにその髪は美しい。目の前で汚れてしまうのはいささか心苦しいというものでしょう。
そんなこと言ったってシロは私のものだけどまあ少しはセイバーのこと考えてあげてもいいわ。シロを勝たせてあげることはできるけど私じゃ守ってあげられないものね。
Ilya shrugs and takes another bite of her sandwich.
言われるまでもありません。マスターの盾となるのはサーバントの責務ですから。
Saber responds plainly enough as they eat. The conversation hasn't changed much, but at least they sound calmer. As we relax after finishing our meal, Tosaka comes in.
シロいる？こっちの準備はできたから早めに顔を出してよね。
Her message delivered, Tosaka has to head straight back into the outbuilding.
そうか、忘れてた。午後は遠坂に魔術を教えてもらうんだった。
Never had a proper teacher, so Tosaka's magecraft lectures have actually been really helpful. She seems to be willing to keep teaching, so I should clean up quickly and head over to her.
悪い、遠坂の部屋に行ってくる。どのくらいかかるかわからないから、セイバーとイリアは部屋で休んでいてくれ。
いいよ。私もなんだか眠いし。
No, she's actually going to. Ilya walks out of the dojo, rubbing her sleepy eyes. That's a relief. As long as Ilya goes to sleep, I don't think there is any much problem with me going to Tosaka's room.
シロ、リーの部屋に行くのですか？
ああ、そう言っただろ。遠坂には魔術の基本を教わらなくちゃいけない。
You gonna get weirdly possessive now?
その必要はあるのでしょうか。バーサーカーを通れましたし、私たちが協力している敵は存在しなくなった。ならば、シローがリンに教わることはなくなったのではないですか。
She might be right. Tosaka's lessons were originally meant to help me when we were up against a Berserker. So with him gone, there's no reason for him to teach me anything else. But he still should learn. What the fuck?
いや、バーサーカーとは関係なしで教わりたいんだ。俺は未熟だから、少しでも早く一人前にならないと。
そうですか。シローがそういうのでしたら。
Yeah, she's getting a little possessive, which I don't mind. Saber looks sullen as she says this.
じゃあレクチャーを始めるけど、その前に聞いておくわ。
Alright, I think we're gonna stop it there.
壊れちゃったところとかない？
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and stop it there. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing tomorrow.
I don't really know how I'm gonna do this new system that I'm working with to upload VODs. So I guess pay attention to the Discord, and I'll keep you updated on what I plan to do going forward. But for now, let's find someone to raid out into, you know, if my fucking shit works. It seems like it's not. There it is. All right, Dave's playing Alan Wake. Amy's playing Jack and Daxter. Kelsey's doing art. I was playing Skull. Nuni's doing Marvel Rivals. Anyone actually, you know what, let's just go ahead and read Dave. Dave was in here earlier, so why not? All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing tomorrow, so I guess pay attention to the Discord, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Everyone have a great night. Hit the like button, subscribe. Bye.